Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother Avis, and we are here with another season as well as another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays. And this is season 4. We back at episode 1. Yeah, man. Took a break. Feels good. We're going to get back and we're going to keep it pushing for this final season. And grateful for y'all. Glad to see y'all here. We gonna figure it out as we continue on, but we got some stuff for y'all today. So shouts out to everybody that's here, as well as those who will be watching this later on Instagram or YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button to your boy Avid Speaks, because it's gonna have more content on that channel. So come through and follow. I'm working on it, you know. So come help your boy out. Subscribe. What's going on, Chris? I see you in here. Chicken and Beef, I see you. You finally made it to the beginning. So now, yes, you're going to be able to get to hear the song itself. So shouts out to you. But before I do any of that, I have to go ahead, and y'all probably haven't even got to see. Maybe some of y'all have, but this is the logo. So this is the logo for the final season. Yeah. So if y'all don't see it, yes, this is the final season. If y'all got questions on the reasons why, I can talk about it in this episode, because this episode is going to be a little bit informative in the sense of my beginnings with stuff with music, and then really coming into terms of literally journeys, etc., all of that. But with that, of course, what we're going to be doing is we come in here, say your name, or how you doing, how you feeling, and let me know what's the word. But as that's going on for today's topics, which I got to throw in the comments, I got to get back to it. Got to dust off the rust, y'all, a little bit. But for today's episode, we are going to be talking about, like we usually do, we're going to get into some current events. Then second, we're going to talk about the Survival Chronicles. You're like, okay, what's that? You'll find out. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what drives us to stay above the ground. And I appreciate y'all if y'all come through, share your thoughts and perspectives on it. If not, we're going to keep it pushing like we usually do. So with that being said, before we get into the current events, we're going to do the show song. So let me cue it up for y'all. But again, y'all let me know in the comments how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. And what's the word for today? What's the word? All right. So I got it queued up. And I'll put this out here for y'all too. I still have just the instrumental. By the end of the season, to wrap up for all of the seasons combined together, I'm going to drop a track. It's going to be called What's the Word? But for now, you get the instrumental. Yes, last season, Chicken and Beef. Yeah. They be asking. Y'all be wondering. We be wondering. What's the word? So we tell them like this. What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? What you heard? We gotta know, yeah, what's the word? Peace and love, y'all. Once again, it's your brother Avis, and we are back with another season and another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays. This is season 4, episode 1, the final season. Yes, I'm gonna keep saying it just because I'm gonna keep saying it. But again, shouts out to all y'all that's in here. I see my brother Sabi Smooth, another legend in the building, as well as Chicken and Beef. I appreciate you. Much love. As well as I see Chris in here, or Chris in the building. Aliens approved. Aliens is here. So, once again, we're going to get into the topics for today. We're going to be talking about current events. I'm going to do them real short. And then second, we're going to get into talking about the Survival Chronicles. However you want to picture that. I'm going to share what I got. And then lastly, we're going to talk about, again, what drives us to stay above the ground. So basically, what's your why? What is your why? If you don't know your why, you're going to find out your why tonight. But with that being said, it said, call her queen. Y'all great. Tenacity. I see y'all in here. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Much love. Yes, we back in here, Sabi. We back up in here, fam. All right. But with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to get started with current events. So, current event wise, y'all, I pulled up just a few that popped into my head. I know there's so many more, but I'm not the whole news reporter, so I'm not going to be reporting on every single thing that's out. So if y'all have any news reports, current events that y'all like to share, or even if y'all just got some good news that y'all want to share, please go ahead, put it down in the comments. I'm talking about y'all that's seeing this later too. Put them down in the comments. Let everybody see how everything is good and how things is going. You never know who you can encourage through just putting them down. But with that being said, let me go ahead. So, first news topic that I saw, and I just wanted to make a quick show of it, really. I'm not going to show it on the fair, but I'm talking about speak to y'all. But this article, it comes from US Today, and the headline reads, heartbreaking destruction from Missouri tornado. 5 deaths reported. Live updates. So right now, as things are going on, there's live updates, but want to send off, strength and send off protection to those folks out in Missouri, and condolences and love to those families or those folks who have been caught up in a tornado and unfortunately have gone and passed on. So I just want to send that out there to my Missouri folks. See y'all in here. Much love, and we'll read just a bit of it. Each time when I do an article, we go 3 paragraphs and we're out. This one, I'm going to just do 1 and we're going to move on to the next one. So, article reads, a tornado that slammed into southeastern Missouri early Wednesday caused at least 5 deaths and injuries to 5 people and prompted a feverish search for survivors in the wreckage, authorities said. Tornadoes were reported in parts of Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri late Tuesday and early Wednesday, and severe storms forced brief ground stops at major airports in Austin, Chicago, and Detroit. So it's not only just Missouri, but it's all in those areas. So please, family out there, be careful, watch yourself, and I'm sending my protection to y'all. But that's the first article. If you want to read more about it, again, check it out. It's on US Today, and the headline reads, heartbreaking destruction from Missouri tornado. 5 deaths reported. Live updates. That's already in there. So, with that, let's move to the next one. The next one I got for y'all. So the next one is, and these are for my folks who love getting hand sanitizer, other family that that might have medications and things, etc. This article comes from Best Life, and the title reads, FDA issues new warnings on medical recalls, hand sanitizer, pneumonia meds, and more. So, again, we are going to go 3 paragraphs, and then we're out. All right? Oh, and no human, no one either. Too far away. This is the stereotype about aliens. Y'all are hilarious. But all right. So let's see. The article reads, which is only 3 from right now. All right. Let me go back to it. Article reads, there has been other recent medical recalls too. The latest warnings issued by the FDA aren't the only cases recently where medical products or drugs have been pulled from shelves due to safety concerns. On March 22nd, with shout out to Jack, I see you in here, brother. The agency announced that the Ascend Laboratories LLC has voluntarily recalled its dabigatran, and I'm not going to even try the other word. I butchered these, y'all. Some of y'all come to see that. It starts with an E. I'm going to say etc. Capsules, USP, a commonly prescribed blood thinner medication. Those have been recalled. The move came after the company discovered the drug contained a nitroamine or anamine impurity, specifically in which is the nitrosodimethylamine or thalamine. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not scientific. It's definitely an alien word. It's just a word that we don't use very often. It's important y'all read the back of y'all products and stuff too. If there's all these words you cannot pronounce, you might want to check it out. But in amounts above the FDA set acceptance daily intakes levels. No, the notice was warned that even though people are regularly exposed to nitrosamines through the water and foods that we have, so we're regularly we are exposed to these things, such as through grilled meats, dairy products, vegetables. Exposures in high amounts over time could increase the risk of cancer. Hearing this all the time, but leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. But if you want to read more about it, there's been some recalls. It's not gonna put the full list of things there, but if you want to see and figure out where all these recalls are, there's links in there. But again, this article comes from Best Life, and the headline reads, FDA issues new warnings on medical recalls, hand sanitizers, pneumonia meds, and more. So there it is, y'all. Yeah, chicken beef. You made me think, but not alien in the sense of what y'all are talking about, but alien as in the word is foreign. We don't see it very often, but very funny. Very funny. All right. Let's get back up here. And again, if y'all have any articles y'all want to share and also put down, please put them down in the comments. I'm not going to go too long with this. I want to get this moving so we can have this convo and just keep it pushing there. But the next one I got for y'all, specifically for our folks in the U.S. I don't know about my folks all around abroad, but much love to y'all all around the globe. Much love to y'all. This next article comes from the street. Not the street outside, but the street. And the headline reads, U.S. cities with biggest homeless problem starts blasting classical music as a weapon. Interesting. Let that sit again. The headline reads, U.S. city with biggest homeless population or problem starts blasting classical music as a weapon. So I'm going to figure out what it is. Again, 3 paragraphs and we out. So, the solution emerged in the metro. I'm going to tell y'all now. Already could tell. This is LA. This is LA for sure. So all my LA folks know this. You're goofy as heck. Of course. Around the whole globe. Yes, the world. You want to go out into space. All the vastness everywhere. Every creature being that is here. Much love. All right. The solution emerged in the metro, but it isn't new. If you've been to Los Angeles recently, chances are you've noticed the city's growing wealth disparity. Cali got to get it together. Specifically Los Angeles too. As of 2022, Los Angeles has the highest homeless population at 65,111 people, according to data from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. LA tries to solve its growing homeless crisis. During COVID, LA officials tried to relocate its growing homeless population to places like safe houses and hotels in order to prevent the spread of infection. Now that the pandemic has waned, however, unhoused individuals are back on the streets and seeking shelters in places like local metro stops. So, for example, and we'll be there, the Westlake / MacArthur Park Metro, which has been blasting classical music at elevated volumes, so super loud, in an attempt to drive out its homeless squatters, reports that the station is also using bright floodlights inside of the station obscenely to sleeping, and other shady activities has also emerged. I'm not going to go further into it, but LA got a huge homelessness crisis. And these are some of the tools that they're using to honestly just make them move from place to place. I don't know where else. They say we're putting in hotels, but since COVID's done, now they're trying to move. I don't know where they're trying to put these folks, but the disparities are very high. So you can try to keep moving them from place to place, but what's going to end up happening is eventually it's just going to have an impact everywhere. So this is their solution. But again, if y'all want to read more about what they got cooking up, the article comes from The Street, and the headline reads, U.S. city with biggest homeless problem starts blasting classical music as a weapon. So it's there. Psychological warfare. Again, those basic needs that we have there at that bottom of the pyramid from Maslow, even though many people have discredited it and made revisions, but those necessities, we got a place to stay, place to eat, shelter, all of that's there on that basic level. That if that's messed with, yes, you got the psychological welfare as well as the instability. But with that, y'all, last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to run through some headlines, and all of these are going to be from NPR. So if you want to check this out, just go to npr.org and you'll find it all there. So, bam, bam. So the first one, a North Carolina lawmaker has switched parties, creating a path to stricter abortion laws. One headline. We have Claus Tabor, Canton board game creator, dies at 70. He passed on. Two descendants of the Muskogee freedmen are fighting for tribal citizenship in court. This one got me when I saw it. It's besides the one before it. Cash App creator Bob Lee, 43, is killed in San Francisco. He's stabbed. If you want more details, again, npr.org, I should say. Another one, 5 things to know about Donald Trump's felony charges. That's on there. And then they got all these other ones here. I'm not going to continue to just put more and more and more there, but if you want to check out these other articles and titles that's happening, it's all there for y'all. But with that being said, y'all, that's all the news I got. If y'all have any other news that y'all want to share or y'all want to put out there, again, it could also be good news that you've experienced too. Please put them down in the comments. I'm here for it. But while I'm about to get to the next topic and keep it moving, I'm going to check the comments and see what is going on. Because I see y'all going here back and forth. Yeah. Can't shout this. Yep. Exactly. I'm agree. I'm smart too. I can agree with y'all. Question, can aliens have... Oh my goodness, you're goofy. I heard Indian did. Said, oh my goodness, my man. Hilarious. I do not have those answers for you, so I cannot answer that for you, my man. But if y'all don't have any more, I'm going to go ahead and let's move to the next topic, which the next topic we're going to be talking about is the Survival Chronicles. Now, you're thinking in your head, okay, what are you talking about when you mean the Survival Chronicles? Well, I'm going to take it to two different places. One, I'm going to start off giving y'all a little bit background of why this title in particular has an impact as well as is important to me. And then lastly, I'm going to have, if one wants to come on and y'all want to talk, we talk about what surviving, or give some of your own stories if you want to share, like you surviving and making it through different experiences, whether if it had to deal with something on a spiritual level, well, it had to do with something on a physical level, where you had to deal with somebody at your work, your job, school, home, your family. If you want to share, you can share, of course, but that's going to be the second portion there. And as I'm saying that, might as well go ahead and put the disclaimer out there. So, disclaimer. When you come on, if you decide that you want to come on and speak, because I love to hear from y'all, I love to see y'all. When this happens, when you come on, this will be on Instagram and YouTube. So this will be in a live space. If you're not comfortable with you being on and seeing yourself like that, then you can stay in the comments and share there. But once you come on, you're also given the right that I can share and put this on other platforms. Again, if you're not comfortable, it's all good. You stay in the comments. We can keep the convo there. But again, I like reading comments, but at the same time, I love to see face-to-face interaction with folks. So if y'all can, you do it. If not, it's all good. It's all love. With all that said, let's go ahead and get into the topic about the Survival Chronicles. So I'm going to start with my first half. The Survival Chronicles, for me in particular, is important is because of the fact that this was the first title to a project of music that I was creating back in high school. And the first song that I ever wrote, but the first song I ever wrote to be recorded was called Survive. Now, yes, you can go and look and try to find all this stuff. I will tell you right now, the music is mixed very badly. This is way before I knew anything about really recording and mixing, etc. I don't have to put that out there, but just letting you know. But the whole idea of the Survival Chronicles and even picking from that song, Survive, that I created, was really trying to weave through and really figure out my existence and my life from as a kid up until where I was in high school. So it just felt right, and it just suited me when it came to calling it the Survival Chronicles. Now, with that project, it went on to have 3 installments, which I'll go through each, not all the way fully through, but I'll go through each and speak on them. But the first one I started to do, it happened around the end of freshman year into my sophomore year, and I started recording, and it started off with the song Survive. Now, the reason why, again, the Survival Chronicles was important to me because the title in itself gave me not only a concept to think about, but also it really made me start to question, okay, once I end out and leave from high school, which high school is just a mini verse, or I should say it is a smaller version of what you will experience in the outside world, what am I going to experience? How am I going to make it through? Who's going to be there? There's a number of things was running through my head. So think about the whole idea of Survival Chronicles. Think of it as in a book wise of how would I chronicle my life right to this point of how I can not only just survive, but find a way to thrive. But as I was going through that first year? So I dropped that back, 2009? 2009 as I dropped that. It's a mixtape, of course. It was a whole set of not beats that I made, of course, but this is where I started to explore music, and I was exploring and learning about people. 3 specific producers that was on the project that I used the beats for, that I was inspired by. I had Ninth Wonder, had Flying Lotus, and we had Nujabes. And during that time, which I see the question, and I'm definitely gonna write. I will answer your question, chicken. I got you. It was important. What's up, bud, brother? Good to see you in here. It was important that I voiced those things, which the very interesting part about creating the first Survival Chronicles was that the mode that I was in at that time, it wasn't really even too much of a writing mode. Survive is the first one that I wrote, but majority of those songs on the Survival Chronicles, I freestyled a lot of this stuff. And partly because it felt like it was just, I had that again, it was the survival instinct that was kicking in, was just yo, I just want to go get this done, get it done now. Because you never know, okay, how much time I'm going to get to go and record this and figuring out why this all happened and where am I going to record this, which that was the first stepping stone. Was okay, where am I recording this? Shouts out to my homie, or I should say a brother that I knew, my boy Yoni, aka Johnny. Here's the first place I went to go and record this song, and I did it in, I think it was 2 takes, very bad takes. And this was during the time where I didn't know the difference between continuing and taking pauses to record each individual track. This is where I was just recording tracks all the way through. So I was rapping, I was singing the chorus, I was rapping again. If I had to sing the chorus again, I sing it again. And if I messed up, I would start all the way over. So it also just really put again, that intention of how am I going to survive doing the whole take in just one take, while being able to have the breath control, while being able to get all the words out that I need to. So it's like I put my mind in that space to be able to just not only create, but really just figure out, okay, what does it look like to me? Like, can I survive? Can I do this? Etc., etc. But he said, nah, don't answer me. But let me see. He said, did you write the thing? So goofy. No. No, I did not. To answer your question, no. I'm not on any type of that, my man. But while writing all of the songs, a few other ones, again, that I can show some of the titles. I'm about to look them up right now, because of course I'm not gonna be like, yes, I remember every single title from it. But it's like literally another one I had on there is called Wake Up. It's like figuring out, okay, like, again, like when I wake up, like, what am I beginning to for the day? Like, honestly, it's like a very, very simple, typical track of people doing that, like just getting up. Another one, I actually got some features on here. I had a few homies as well as my cousins on here singing. One of them was called Glad I Made It, because literally, surviving, you glad you made it. What are you glad for? What are you showing gratitude for that you made it through to another day? Another one, Gots to Go. Another one called Beyond, which does sound very spatial. Shouts out again to Nujabes. Sun is Shining. Time is a Factor. I have a goofy song on there called Make a Song. There's a Tomato Dome freestyle, which is hilarious. I don't know why, but shouts out to Odyssey. Shouts out to Odyssey, as well as the brother, I think M Phases made the beat too. But hilarious. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did. Looking Around, understanding that you got to relax, as well as when it's over, it's over. I want to see if it works with my computer. Man, brother, go for it. I don't think you can necessarily jump into a live from the laptop or the computer. I've tried it once. You can only just view. You would have to be on your phone or some type of iPad, other device. Maybe a tablet might work, but the computer, not necessarily. But going back into it, this first setup here, I'm gonna show the picture, and then I'm gonna try to put y'all back on here. But this is what the first one looked like, at least the title of it. It looked like this. Literally, grass, a book, Survival Chronicles on it. What's going on, Kunde? Peace and love, peace and love. Good to see you in here. See, now I'll put it back on here. Hopefully the phone not gonna just snap out of nowhere. But if it does, we'll fix it. It says try to add me. Let's see. We gonna do something. Avis, it was Thesis, and the whole setup of Thesis was a different story. If y'all ever want to find that out, I can tell it another time. While I also have a brother that I did an interview with. Shout out to Chris Millette. I did one with him, and we talked about all the beginnings of the songs and things like that, and my name, Thesis, and stuff. Y'all could check that out on, that was his Harmonic Heart interviews, but it's on there. Welcome back. Thank you, Kundin, so much. Thank you. Good to see you up in here, too. Much love to you. But overall, this first project, when coming to think of the idea of Survival Chronicles, it really just helped me really put into perspective, like, how I see things now and how can that be seen when I get older. Like, where am I going to figure this stuff out of trying to survive or trying to create, a life for myself. So moving forward, we jump to the second edition of it, which is Survival Chronicles Part 2. Now, this is towards the end of my high school. So, what did it say on your side? It didn't come through. It literally ended up saying that it wasn't able to join, so you can't do it. Chicken and beef, you're going to have to try on the phone. If not, it's all good, brother. It's all good. I appreciate y'all already comment in the comments. All y'all is busy. I'm grateful for y'all coming and sharing time with your boy. But the second one, it's called Survival Chronicles Volume 2, The Story Within Life. So continuing the whole idea of, again, now I went from like the beginnings of high school. Now we're moving towards the end of high school, moving into college, and how that's going to be seen. So literally I have on there a song with a lot of homies that, you know, shouts out to them. All For You Cypher. Again, shout out to my brother Rob, aka at this point he was called The Kid, on the song called All For You Cypher. Shouts out to RJD2 on the beat. RJD2 is a dope DJ and producer. Y'all don't know, check him out. As well as my brother Yoni, the first brother that helped me record a song. Then you got my boy Myth. Shout out to Brian. And then also Jay. It's another brother that was in high school. But that was the first track. Another track out in there called Living Right. Another one called Day in the Life Remix. Shout outs to Marcus D and Substantial. Then I have one called Good Music. So it's like literally a playoff of when you find your favorite song, it hits you so deep that it keeps you in a certain mood. So good music, mood music. It sets the mood, sets the vibe. So like, again, as I'm going through and figuring out what is my story within life and how am I going to create that picture and create that story as I keep on going on. And there's another track called Misled, which also stands for Make Another Day, which we can get mad about stuff happening, but we got to be able to make another day. I'm saying, what's the word? Indeed. Yes. And then there's one track on there called Deeper Meaning that literally wondering and figure out there has to be a deeper meaning to all of this that is happening, and that we can see surface level. And this is me now just coming to realize this stuff. Back in high school when I was doing this stuff, I just had that energy. I was in the mode to just create. So I didn't necessarily have like, okay, yeah, this is my deeper meaning for right now. But going back and listening to it, it's just like, it's really helped my trajectory of being able to be introspective and like, okay, there is something more deeper to how we use not only these words, which again, what's the word, as well as words are real spells, aka wars, all of that stuff. What's going on, Jazz? Good to see you in here. Peace and love, fam. Peace and love. As well as another track called Find My Home. And then one track that I did with my brother, which I was going to be on a remix. Shouts out to my brother Rubber Ducky Russ. Of course, we did on a remix of this one, but it was called No Good. And literally being able to, this one for sure, got me thinking, because as I was approaching to be out of high school and going into college, a lot of people in my neighborhood around me, they was all asking, it's like, okay, so what are you going to be doing? Are you going to play basketball? Are you going to play football? Like, how are you going to get into college? And it really started making me think. I'm like, that's all y'all see me doing? Like, I barely do any of that stuff. Like, I played football for like, 2-3 years. Then I ran track and then also did cross country. But that's not the only thing that I'm going to be able to do just so I can get in college. Like, what about this? Like, why is it just that? Like, why is that the perspective of that's the only thing you see me doing? So the whole song No Good kind of is based off of that, of like how people were picturing me a certain way and basically just seeing like, if you can't do any of that, then you no good. Like, what about this though? And then I did a freestyle in my soul, another one called Making My Way, a remix to Keep Shining. Shout out to Shad. If y'all don't know Shad is a dope MC, as well as he's a dope commentator, hip-hop historian, because he has a Netflix show. I forgot what it was. Like, it's the something of hip-hop. You can check it out. But yeah, Shad is dope. A remix to his called Keep Shining. And shouts out to my brother Daryl from not only high school, but this is from church. D-Lo at the point. And then one of my favorite tracks on here still to this day is So Special with my brothers DC, a.k.a. now he's Larad, and my homie, my brother, the kid. And shouts out to my cousin in here too. Prolific Hands, how you doing, my brother? What's the word? We got some talking to do, cousin. I'm going to call you a little bit later, but we got some talking to do. But So Special. Still to this day, I have a great feeling when I listen to it. And then one of the last ones on there is the Next Movement freestyle, which is a Roots. It's a Roots beat. And shouts out to the Roots. Roots is one of, if not the dopest band ever, especially hip hop all around. Shouts out to the Roots. But in the second volume, I literally was, and I know I'm over here going back and forth, but Kundin, yes, we already did the current events, and now we're on to the next one, which I'm talking about, the Survival Chronicles. I'm talking about how this relates to me as a person, especially music-wise. And then second is when I want y'all to come on and we talk about experiences that you went through that helped you become not only a survivor, but literally helped you look at things differently because you made it through. But yeah, this second volume, it put into perspective of not only all my high school years, but literally preparing myself for college and how am I going to go about still, again, figuring out how I'm going to survive the next stage. So I started off early. The first one was the beginnings of high school. This one is the ends of high school and transitioning. Now, the last one that I wrote, which will come 6 years later in 2017, which is roughly 2017, where was I? I was just coming back from Seattle, and that's where I met all my dope brothers. Shouts out to my brother Buffet Destroyer, aka George. Again, shouts out to Sabu Smooth, Chief Javi, Monica. I even met Shingo too while I was out there. That's where I met Marcus D, and I met Substantial out there, all in Seattle, as well as my brother Erskine. Can't remember my brother Erskine, aka Zachariah made it, my brother. There's so many people. Oh, you was running around in Delamo Mall, LOL, bruh. Yo, bruh. Yeah, that too. That's that too, for real. Yeah, man, you just took us back right there, cuzzo. You just took me back right there. You was running around in Delamo Mall, bro. We was being goofy. We was being goofy for sure. And that was partly you. That was partly you too. So you were part of that train, my man. But again, moving to the last chronicle, Survival Chronicles 3, which was the past, the present, the end. It literally was the sum, again, of all those experiences. And this is after me now graduating from college, moving out to Seattle in a program and trying that program out to get a different perspective because I didn't want to stay in California for so long. And then literally coming back to just revisit older songs while at the same time put newer songs in there. And honestly, of course, to me, this is my favorite one out of all of them. Of course, they all have a special place in my heart, but this one definitely, because of not only it's the remixes, but I got all of the people that originally was on it that I had to from other tracks. And also I got to get one brother out from Seattle. Shouts out to my brother Longo in the building. Self-care, hashtag self-care for your healthcare all day, every day. And speaking of another brother, shouts out to Joe Bruce, a.k.a. Water Bearer World, Water Bearer Group, music, all of that together. Much love to you, my man. I was able to get a lot of folks on here to help me just really close it out. And this one in particular is because this was the last time that I used my old moniker, which was Thesis. Is that expensive hands? Y'all hilarious. Yo, you should sponsor your cuz in a match so he can wear your logo in a fight. Oh, my cousin was the one that helped me create my logo. So you see my my cartoon almost character type, if not human logo, that was done by my brother Prolific Hands, my cousin. He did all of that. You know, I did my name, so now I have Avis as the name logo, but all of that was my brother right there. So I appreciate him. But if y'all want to get some logos and stuff done, shoot, go to my brother Prolific Hands, because he not only got them prolific hands, he got them prolific hands with the drawing. See what he did there. But this last project really helped sum up everything and really send off a end to Thesis, which was, again, my older moniker, which just spoke to my experience early on as a kid, then to high school, and to sum up all of my endings of college, and now moving into adulthood, further on into adulthood. But before I start, let me look in here. I see it's Full Circle. Yes, Full Circle, like that album by Exhibit, X to the Z Exhibit. I'm just playing. But yes, man, all of that. So a few tracks on there that I want to highlight, and then after that, I'm gonna just sum everything else up, and then we'll move to the second part of the Survival Chronicles. I can speak on some experiences that I went through and I've survived. If anybody want to come on and share, y'all are more than welcome to do so. And again, if you're not, the comments is there for you. I'll read it, especially as best as I can. And if I mess it up, I mean, that's why some people come to see it anyways. But some of the tracks that I really enjoyed on here. One of them, New Start, Fresh Start. And this is a freestyle with the homie, again, from Seattle, my boy Longo. Shouts out to him. I did a remix to Be Known, because at the end of the day, I'm thinking about it too, is that I also want to be known for something. Like, what am I going to bring to this world? What am I going to bring it to later on? So legacy. I was already thinking of legacy stuff while this was happening. Do It For You. Shouts out to my brother Myth. Again, Do It For You. And it's over, again, a Knife Wonder, if not Little Brother beat. The same name. Well, For You is what it's called, but we said Do It For You. And then the No Good remix with Rubber Ducky Russ, which also shout outs to RJ Full Range, who did like the full remix with a different beat, like an original beat. And we was able to make a song to that, which is still the highest music video that I've gotten on YouTube when it comes to views. So shouts out to that. Someday, which that song, Someday Future, featuring my brother Myth as well as my brother Rob, which at this point he was going by Richard or Richard. I don't know why. He just kept switching his name. But this song in particular, Someday, it has my favorite sample in it, which is a sample from Donny Hathaway, which is my favorite soul singer, and the song from Someday We'll All Be Free. So it has that sample in there. I think that beat is was produced by Analogic, if I'm correct. Analogic and KO, I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on it. But my verse on that song was like my life statement, like my why. And that's what we're going to be talking about later when you see about, your whys, what's keeping you above the ground. But this was like my why statement, and it still fits to this day. Like, it's very interesting that, again, put it in song form, you go back and review it, and it still sticks today. But that one in particular, it was like another special song to me, because not only my favorite soul singer, but I want to sample one of my favorite songs from the soul singer, and then all my brothers on there did their thing. So then I did a remix to Look Around Part 2. Another one, if y'all want to get a small dose of at least my life in a small capsule, back then, a song to look out for is called Time of Reflection. Like, Time of Reflection is the song, because I literally I was chronicling everything that was going on early on, that I was just figuring out school-wise, life-wise, where I was into here, dealing with bullying, dealing with a number of different things, not having a father, like all of this stuff is in that song. It's a time of reflection where I sit back and I'm literally trying to just look at, again, everything from the full picture. So that song is important too, because I also got some cuts in there. I got one from Definite Mass that I put in of like some voices. Another one from Basic Vocab, which is a dope group out of Florida. And then I have one, the Bruce Lee everybody uses, but it just fit. So I also put Bruce Lee in there, Be Like Water, had to. And then another one of my favorite tracks that I did with my uncle, it was a story track, which is called Change Your Mind, and parentheses words. It was a whole conversation between, as a boy going through some difficult times and not having his dad be able to lean on and his mom be able to lean on, sisters going off doing some crazy things. And he had this one uncle that was there helping support him. And he's on a phone call talking with him, and his uncle's pushing him through and giving him some word of wise wisdom. That song was just really dope. Got to do with my uncle. Keep Going Further, which is always a saying I like to use. Then I had to do the first track that I've ever done, Survive. I had to do a remix with the first person that helped me create it, as well as I had to throw my uncle in there again. Then I have a song called Our Lives, a song called Being Unique, Loving It Too, as well as The Journey, which I still use that song to this day for other stuff on my phone. then have done with it. And then the last one that I like, which is so cool, is I got my nephew at the time. Now he's like older, the boys, and I think he's a freshman in high school, almost about to be sophomore, if I'm correct. I got to remember. But I got him on the outro, and this was the end outro, where both basically me and him freestyled. I gave him one beat and let him freestyle, and I gave myself another beat and freestyle. But before that, I had voicemails from all my family and friends sending off a farewell to my old name thesis. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, every time I hear that song, it just it brings me like in a really, really soft place, just like hearing like my aunties, my uncles, my grandmother, my mom, my friends, all just speaking not only wise words, but like very supportive words. So anytime that if I go back and I'm feeling down, like I'll listen to that song and just listen to the voicemail messages. And man, it's crazy. It's just crazy how powerful doing something small like that comes back in the future, and it still, again, has an impact till now. I mean, that's why we got classic songs. But in this case, like, this is just always a reminder to, again, keep pushing. And my nephew, I just say nephew. I keep saying nephew. It's actually cousin. I'm tripping. Me and the family tree suck, y'all. I suck at this family tree stuff. But my cousin, he rapped on the Paparazzi beat by Exhibit. Did his thing. I rapped on a Bop Alloy beat. But ultimately, that was the last song on the whole Survival Chronicles. I'm not going to, again, I know this has been like long-winded, but ultimately, the Survival Chronicles 3 really was a trilogy and a testament to my growth, my overall feel, and my overall perspective at that point of literally how my life is gone, how it's going to continue, and literally where do I want to take it, as well as featuring all of the folks that helped me and supported me in some way, shape, or fashion. Of course, I would get everybody if I could, but again, these are a number of folks I was able to reach out to and get to, so it's still near and dear to me in my heart. But yeah, but let me see. Before I like continue to finish this up and we move, let me go in here and say, sidebar, did you watch the last episode of Wu-Tang Show? I did not. I do not have any, I don't be watching shows like that. So like people gotta like sit down with me and have me like watch the show. Like, it's bad. Said I'm a survivor of and also of self unliving ideation. Thank you for talking. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. And yes, you are a survivor. You made it. And you are important. You are loved. You are cherished. It is love, impact, and legacy. Yeah. You and old soul at yeah. I don't know how many times I've been told that, y'all. Like it is. I can say definitely I'm an old soul. I like to do very simple things. It's just where it is. And I can say, like, I learned a lot of this too from my grandfather, which if y'all don't know, besides Avis, my real name's Calvin. And my grandfather's name was Calvin. And I took a lot from him. So, and the funny thing is, if I ever showed y'all a picture, y'all would see it. Like, I have a mustache. It looked just like his. But literally, that's where I get a lot of that he's an old school, the old soul feel too, is because of just being under my grandfather. Because, again, I didn't have my dad. So that was my main role model, was my grandfather, till he passed on. Again, if you want to know some of this stuff, there's a whole time of reflection, that song. I know I'm like pushing y'all to older stuff, but it's on Bandcamp. Y'all know where Bandcamp is. But that song tells y'all a bit about it. But yeah, he said, "While paparazzi beat." Yeah, he did his thing. At that time, my cousin, how old was he? So this is 2017. He was born 2000. Okay, he was 10 years old, like 10 years old. It's a 19-year-old rapping on paparazzi. He did his thing though, and it's a freestyle. He didn't write this. It's a freestyle. So I wasn't mad at him when he did it. I had showed him a beat. He was like, "I want that one." I was like, "Okay, do your thing." Let him record it. It was a dope moment. That's all I had to say. I'm surprised you didn't save your grandson. You didn't say your grandson. I'm not that old, yeah, but I am too. So it's a vibe. Yeah, me too. but not when I'm taking them. Y'all hilarious. Bald man with a shit. Yeah, of course. You remember that. I've shared this with the students too. Some of them still laugh at that too. It's very, very hilarious. We know you got his mustache ad. Trust me, hilarious. Oh, you look like you walked out of a time machine with that stash. Y'all are hilarious. Y'all are hilarious. But again, the Survival Chronicles, just the title in itself, was very, very, again, influential and important to me because it not only helped me conceptualize my experiences, but at the same time, it helped me take bits and parts from everyone that was around me that influenced me to create a model, create a philosophy and a way to live and really understand, observe, and move through the world. And this was just a nice way to sum it all up together in just these 3 sets. It's always trilogies. Like, there's great trilogies out there, and that's what I wanted to leave it with. It here was that trilogy, and piecing out onto the next, which ended up moving to now. Now, from 2017/18, I'm gonna say 2018 is when I've been officially been avid. So this is me now. But yeah, Survival Chronicles is a very dope thing. It is a lot of memories, a lot of a lot of long nights, a lot of fond memories, a lot of goofy stuff. Like it's hilarious. It's real dope. He said, "At the last season of Wu-Tang show gonna make you cry." It's his life's work. Not only just that, it's not even just that. It's a piece of. It's just only a piece of. Because now what I'm creating, I definitely can say that when it comes to bars, when it comes to concepts and ideas, I've definitely grown as a writer from this. But it helped, again, to have that concept based around life, because that's mostly what I really rap about. I prefer to only rap about things that I've experienced. If I am telling a story, it's a story that either I conjured up or I read about that I thought was pretty dope and I put a spin on it. But most of the time, I like to rap about my own experiences. So when I take time, I've learned now, I just take time and experience life, and then material and things will come to you. Some people are going to enjoy it, other people may not, and that's fine. I'm literally just writing this stuff because this is another outlet that I get joy from doing, and people like it. They rock with it. If they don't, it's all good. Everybody has their flavor. Everybody has what they like and they don't like. But literally, it's just a piece of that whole full picture of the legacy. It's only starting. I got so much going. Yeah, I got so many projects gonna be coming out. So for like the next 7 years. So ain't gonna be no stopping on that. But yeah. Saying the last 2 seasons you met, it's going to touch you in the okay, got you. If I can, I'll check it out. I'm probably have to sit down and watch it with somebody. And is it on Netflix or anywhere? Like, because I don't have Netflix. Y'all be laughing at me too. I've never owned a Netflix, and I still haven't to this day. So yeah. But let's move into the second half of this Chronicles, the Survival Chronicles, and this is y'all. So if y'all want to share some stuff, y'all can. If not, I'll share other experiences that I've gotten to survive from that helped me now continue to push. Not only creating this music-wise of this trilogy of mixtapes, but just regular life, just being Calvin, not Advis. So if y'all want to come on and share, y'all more than welcome. Or just even talk about what do you think that means to you. You're going to tear up when they perform. Got you. He's giving out all the details for my folks who watches Wu-Tang. He's giving out all the details right now. It's the homegirl, Chris, coming through in the building. Yo. What's going on? It's Chris. We back in here. Let me also move down real quick on there. Boom. All right, so we good.
I know.
How you doing, Chris? What's the word? I know it's been a minute.
Yes.
Are you in Maryland now? you were out there. I'm gonna have to link you up with Steph and a few other people because I know Steph
Yep,
is out in
I made
Maryland.
it.
Yeah, there's a few folks out there. I am glad that you did. You
Barely, but
survived
yes,
that drive
but yes,
and the move.
barely. For the first time in my life, I guess like technically I was homeless. It's crazy. Like luckily I had like the means to like stay in hotels and stuff, but that was an experience. I was like, whoa. And I did this by choice. Like it made no sense. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. What is he saying? He's
Yes.
saying a lot of
Chicken
things.
and beef, I
Yeah, he says a
will.
lot of things.
And yeah, and he trying to see you. He wants to see you.
That's what he
Yeah, he
said
wants
that.
to see you. He said you need to tilt your camera down, and then after that, he's telling me I need to. Yeah, and then he said he also wants me to come visit. Which I am. I've
Yes,
been out to the
Herndon.
east
I
before,
moved to
but that was
Maryland.
before
Um,
the east before. That was
no,
before I met any
um,
of y'all out here. But
yeah, it's
yeah,
just been a journey.
continue,
But
Chris. Go
now
ahead. Go ahead.
we finally got a place in November, so it was only from September to November, but like 2 months is long enough, right? But now we have a place,
Mm,
and I'm currently in my office space.
definitely.
Yeah, it's a three
Big
bedroom, two
flutter.
bath.
Okay, office
Well,
space.
it's like a Jack and
Okay.
Jill bath, so, but there's two toilets, so two baths, and three bedrooms. So it's a really big space, very big space. Did it?
Mm, okay. All right. Just, and if we didn't say it,
Thank
we are proud of you,
you.
and we
I
glad
needed to
that
hear
you
that today.
are doing it and
Yeah,
continuing to doing it.
it's Aries season, so I have a lot of pent up
Of course.
energy. What did he say? What did he say? Oh,
I'm gonna let y'all have that.
okay.
Oh no! I'm laughing at what you saying because look, yeah, I'm laughing at what you're saying. The only reason why is me. I am not all in the whole thing with the astrological signs and all of the zodiac stuff. But hey, to each his own. That's all I say. I'll be getting on Steph about that a lot, for sure. Steph
Yeah.
and lyrics. So that's all y'all.
There's just
But Eric, he kind of there with me. Eric is kind of there
well,
with
let's
me.
just
But
look at it
but
as
yeah,
like, okay, well, it's
shouts out to
spring,
Random Thoughts and the
so
whole crew.
there's a certain energy now. And
Uh-huh. I get you. See, yeah, when it comes to the nature stuff like that and the seasons, like yeah, I'm on point with you because it's there's deeper things to it. But yeah, the whole other stuff there, I'm like, cool. You dip your toe in there, that's fine. But like the whole shebang, I'm like,
okay.
nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna let y'all do it. And ad sign is an acronym. Like, yes,
Oh,
you know what? It's either an acronym or it's like Prince. It's just a symbol. It's a symbol.
how do you say
That's what we're
that?
gonna do.
I don't know.
Wow, really acronym. I'm not gonna even try that. Acronym Arius.
Oh,
You try to say acronym in
Aquarius.
Aquarius. You're
Okay.
hilarious. Ah, bars. Never mind. But yeah, Chris, what you want to share? What else you got for not only life updates, any other good news, or anything around your idea of what you think the Survival Chronicles are just being able to,
I
you
think
know, survive and
that's
just
just
figure things out as you go. Like if there's any experiences.
so life is. I don't know. It's continuous. Like you may conquer a
Mm-hmm.
few hurdles, but ultimately, yeah, we're just all out here surviving. It's like a non-stop kind of like thing. So that's like my biggest thoughts on that. I was like, it's continuous.
Yeah, and
It just keeps going.
mm, mm. And when thinking of like it's a continuous thing ongoing and this guy I see you, he's very funny. Oh my goodness. Criminal, he doing over
Good
here, he doing the
thing
whole
he can't come
outcast
in here
Aquemini
because
setups and stuff.
I don't know how much
That's
it's a troll or if
hilarious.
he's wink wink
It's
hitting
hilarious.
on me. I'll call you out. Wink, wink.
Oh, that's chicken and beef, man. Chicken and beef is a hilarious dude as well as a great supporter. I always appreciate it when he be popping through because he is a busy man. I'm just letting you know now. Chicken and beef is a busy man, so thank you for being here too. But as in so just like surviving day in and day out, is there a way for us to not only go past surviving but turn that into, because I know how we see like surviving
or not
in a sense is like you just barely made
like,
it versus not saying it's like struggling.
I wouldn't even put him, because I guess everybody's measurement is like different, so I wouldn't measure it, but yeah, it's just I am
Spider-Man.
I am going, because you're not under and you're not chilling, and you're just going. It's a constant. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just I don't know.
It's a constant balance.
I guess depending.
It's a constant balance of things.
It doesn't really feel like a balance. It just feels like constantly being on go mode. Just doing, just going. Made it. All right, what else now? You know,
very true. Smooth, I see you in here as well as as well as the brother Fred Wizard hands up in here. Fredward Wizard hands.
Middle management.
Shouts out to y'all.
So in a sense, I made it, right? But I'm seeing that even though I like passed that hurdle, it's like no different than where I was just at, like slightly on a financial scale, but it's not like it's not a huge jump. You know what I mean? It's still you're still going like to maintain. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think survival is
understood.
My perspective has morphed. Just like survival is just living. I think we're all just getting real feral.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going backwards, but with new in new ways. I don't know.
Yes. I'm still trying to comprehend this world and this day and age and era now. So yeah. Thank you, Fred Word. I see you in here, my man. Thank you so much. Yes. You know, had to take a break. Honestly, y'all, it's important. I'm glad that I took this break. And it was 3 months, y'all. 3-month break away from all of this stuff. It was definitely needed. Because I will say this now. I have a better sense of self-control when it comes to social media. Like now I've moved it to the realm of I'm using it as a tool. Back then I was so heavily invested in it and letting it use me as a tool. And like even though I was pushing out content, I was like also scrolling, like I want to support a lot of people. So like I'm going through people's pages, looking at stuff, trying to support. All of those things was going on. But I was noticing like it was just sapping so much of my energy to a point where like I was really burnt. I was burnt out after I dropped my other project in August, which was Free Ride Bars, which is I love that project. But I was burnt out there in August. And then try to keep going and push and do episodes. That's why I was falling off on doing What's the Words and everything else, is because I was just really burnt out and tired. While at the same time, talking about Survival Chronicles, some people know, or only like a small portion of people don't know, because I was going to do a song a little bit about it or around it. But in September of that same year, I also got into a car accident. And like that was really just like that really just messed up like the whole vibe of me like really wanting to move, create, do a whole grip of stuff, because I'm like worrying about finances. Dog days are over. Good to see you up in here. Thank you so much coming through, G. Thank you. And that for me was a challenge, because that was like my first accident ever happening. Luckily, it wasn't something super crazy, but it was to a point where, like, finance wise, I took a hard hit, but I was glad at the same time because I just recently was able to get a job, which now I work as a school counselor at a charter school. So those finances came in, but then like right when I got those like first months or so, that just went straight to me paying off and fixing the car because my insurance didn't cover me, but it covered the other person. So I was just literally like, man, like, how am I going to continue doing these freestyles and these lives and everything else when, like, I need to take a break? Like, I'm tired in a sense. And then the first 5 weeks of the first job of working as a counselor, it was hectic. So I was like, man, all right, I need to find a way to take a break. So once December hit, I told myself I'm going to push through, finish everything else that I needed to. December hit, boom. At the end of December, took my break. And I'm telling y'all now, it was well needed. If y'all feel like y'all need to take a break, take a break. And when you come back, really limit how much you use it. Like today, I went over my limit because of the fact that I'm doing this live. But regularly, I only go on Instagram 3 times a day. And I only be on it for like maybe 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes each time. So overall, 15 minutes. And like I've noticed that change of me doing that has been so extremely helpful. And it's helped me to be like, yes, I really personally, if I wasn't making music or doing anything, y'all, I would not be on social media. I'm not with any of this really. But it's not all bad.
Right.
But, you know, it's that whole balance. And that's where I was starting to notice again.
Right.
Don't let it control you. You use it as the tool. But yeah, he said, dang, I did. I know. See, I saw that too, Chicken and Beef. I know you did too. And I'm so glad that you doing well, my two brother. If I didn't tell you that, like, I'm glad that you also are doing great. But it's crazy how, like you said, it's a survival. It's just like you come through these situations, they come up and happen in life. And ultimately it's like, how are you going to push through and, you know, figure it out when stuff like that happens? I know for some people, it's like when things like that, like metaphorically, that life comes crashing down because they haven't have a set foundation or something for them to be able to fall back on if stuff happens, especially finance wise. Like a lot of us don't even have $1,000 in our bank account, let alone emergency money, any of that. I said, don't let them fool you. Oh no, seriously. Social media is a drug. If y'all, I'm gonna say this: if y'all don't know about Instagram is I'm saying it's my breakdown, but somebody probably already flipped it and did whatever else with it. But how I break down Instagram, it's an instant gram. Say an instant gram of dope or satisfaction that you get from the likes and comments and everything. So that's why it's an instant gram. It's your hit. They even have studies on this. For how social media, whether if it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, especially TikTok. There's a new thing about TikTok. I got something for TikTok too, but you know, I got 2 things for TikTok. But they have studies that shown that for folks who were, again, getting those likes and comments on social media from their phone, they put their brains under a fMRI scan, and they compared it to folks who were, you know, drug dealers who've had, you know, addictions. And they noticed that the same areas and regions of the brain that Instagram and all these social medias were hitting are around the same regions that it was for an addict. So it just comes to show you the addictiveness of social media. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. And yes, that's basically it. That was the acronym right there. Instant gratification. Yes, IG, instant gratification. TikTok. I got to see this very soon. I got to see this earlier. But TikTok, there's a such thing, and I've talked about it on Random Thoughts Talk Series. Y'all check it out on Sundays on YouTube. All other places, I'm not gonna say them now, but there's a such thing that's called TikTok brain.
3 hours of my life,
like TikTok brain,
night.
And
no, like seriously. And this, I said I didn't want to get one, and then I ended up getting one, and yep, exactly what I predicted happened. TikTok. taking your life
The flip
away.
on TikTok, the name. Before I get into the flip of the name. Yeah. It's basically it's taking time away from you on that application. That's what it's meant to do. And the short form content, some of it's short form content, they've linked it to the TikTok brain being linked with early stages of dementia. And the more that look, there's studies right now out there. I didn't get to look through many of the different studies, but there shows not like early stages, but it can happen, but it shows different symptoms, as in some folks experiencing depression, as well as a loss of like memory sharpness, as well as attention, drop in attention. There's a number of symptoms or red flags that shows with TikTok. Yeah. And I mean, all that whole shenanigans with TikTok going on with the CEO and the US and all this other stuff. So yeah. But we have to be able to take hold of our time and really watch out for being sapped into the internet and that the whole meta world there, because we have a whole physical real world out here that we live in, and it's important. And yes, China owns TikTok. That's why I don't want to be on there. The U.S. already got all my information. I don't need China or anybody else having my information. I know China be making all of our products and stuff. Like, I can look on this. We probably say made in China. Like, I can look at a whole group of stuff. It said made in China without even needing to show y'all. Like, even if I look at this, yes, I even have my mouse made in China. Like, literally, like it's China does all of this stuff, man. But it's important that we watch out for a lot of these things and be able to maneuver away from it, because the more and more that we get engrossed into an online persona, we lose out on the true persona outside. Like, there is already stuff that came out years back about predicting this use. If some people want to look up The Social Dilemma, I talked about it last season or previous season. Like, that documentary in itself was speaking on that. But the whole idea too of Survival Chronicles when it comes to like experiences, like, yeah, for me, I would actually say during the time, it wasn't as long as you, Chris, but there was a point in time, like when I first moved to Seattle, like I was literally couch surfing in places for almost 2 weeks, almost 2.5 weeks till I found a spot. And they were supposed to have a spot for me in this program and a few other people, but they didn't. So like I was couch surfing. Literally, it was almost a day where I was going to like not have no place at all, but like you had to be resourceful. But I know part of being able to survive is, again, you gotta have that wit, you gotta have the wit, you gotta have the thought to literally be like, okay, what am I gonna do? You gotta be able to logically put things into perspective so that you'll have some type of plan. Because sometimes you gotta think on the fly. Like I'm literally, like, all that I'm saying right now, I have not pre-planned any of this. Chris hasn't pre-planned any of this stuff that's happening on this. Just, again, organic conversation. But this is where, like, when you have to make not only split decisions, but decisions that can have an impact on days, months, years to come, like, you have to also be able to be courageous. And that's where that takes time. And the whole imposter syndrome comes in, as well as the regrets and the I could have done this or done that. So it's a whole conundrum when living this life. Like, people call it a beautiful decay. People say ignorance is bliss. Like, there's a number of ways that you can detail life, but like I say, it's definitely a beautiful thing regardless of all the ugliness. I have a song called That's Life, and that's literally how I sum it up. Living in full existence. That's how I call it life. If you're not living fully,
what's happening?
And I'm not saying like we always gonna be 100%, but I mean fully, as in being present, being here, and what's happening. Yes, you're not living life. And make sure that you don't live life backwards, because then after that will also get you into some trouble. Yes, evil. Yes, live life backwards. Evil.
You know, I'm not good with that.
Or I should say live. Yes, live. Live.
Live. Every villain is lemon.
Live. I mean, live. But yeah, it says they don't want to know how big we are. Don't buy it. Oh my goodness, you are so goofy. He's bringing this from other whole conversations, similar to a saying I made from my old catchphrase. cat
Catchphrase.
phrase from old website. Oh, I know that's you right. You right. Thank you for catching that website. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, no, we got you. We got you. And that's where that piece too of the whole Survival Chronicles and figuring that stuff out too is like, again, finding your resources and what's going to be able to help you. So for some people, yeah, there's motivational sayings. People use mantras. Other people have friends, other those type of resources. They know places and things to go. So like, I want to get to a point. A lot of us all want to get to a point where some people leave it for their family generational wealth and other years to come. And then there's just others who just want to be able to live whatever. Some people want a luxurious life. Other people want a simple life. But however you want to picture and put together your life and how you get there, yes, there's going to be the beautiful, it's going to be the struggle. There is going to be that surviving. But we want to get to a point where we're just not surviving. We're just not at the status quo. Yeah, not even just only the maintaining, but you're thriving. There's going to be a point in time you want to thrive.
Right.
Because, yes, there's always going to be this game of catch up, but it's going to be that. Maintaining is honestly that like, I'm not going to say final component, but it's really one of those reoccurring components. It's like there's going to be a point of I'm doing well, and then after that, all right, I'm maintaining right there. I might dip back a little bit, but then we come here and maintain until we push right back up. And it's really like a whole dance.
There's a bar. There's
yes,
a bar, and there is no down here and maintaining.
Yeah. All right, Smooth. Thank you for coming through. Do what you gotta do. It's your new job, man. Make sure you get you some rest, but thank you for popping in. Much love, brother.
And there is no under. There is no. Well, there can be, but that's where you say you get to thrive territory. But for maintenance, for me, it's like there is no below. For me to be able to maintain, this is where it's at on the number line. This is it on the chart right there. Anything under that, that's not maintaining. That's drowning.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. That's a good analogy to also have too, is to look at it that way. Some people even flip that too, Chris, and they'll be like, yeah, I've been drowning since I finished. But it's a bar. Shouts out to Jody. I just listened to a project that Substantial and Chef Sherm the Barber. Shouts out to Sherm. It was an album that they recommended way back. It was called Kairos. So I listened to a track on there. There's a track is super dope. It's called Sugar Salt. It's called Sugar Salt Cheese. If I'm saying Sugar Salt Cheese, yeah. But I gotta remember the whole thing. Oh, it's sugar, salt, flour, cheese, bread. But it's all of the the atomic names or the periodic table. Those of them. Pretty fire, but there is a bar in there that talks about trying to it was like surviving, but talking about he's talking about trying to above water. I've been drowning since 04, but he flipped it in a way. But he flipped it in a way as in honestly for us to be able to know how to float or stay afloat or be able to just not just only get comfortable but be in that state we got to know what drowning is. Like what is that? Like how do we describe that?
Is that
yeah. Yeah. Hey, bro.
Yeah.
On the real, we have to. So I mean that again. Everybody's maintenance level, everybody's balance level is different. It is like I can't come over there and tell you how to do your balancing, and I can't tell
you can't tell
chicken
your mom.
And beef. I can't tell my cousin. I can't tell my mom. I definitely for sure can't tell my mom. Definitely can't tell my mom. My mom gonna hit me with the Kanye. You can't tell me nothing. But the beautiful thing about that is then that's how you get to learn about everybody's differences that again you can take from it, you can learn from it, or again you could be a part of the destruction and be like, you know what, I'm gonna make you go below your maintenance level, whatever it is. But
right. No, it's wild.
Again, Chris, trying to describe this day and time, like it seems like that's the norm. That sounds like that's the norm.
Uh,
Y'all youngest never seen that show. Home Improvement, of course.
Tim
You talking about
Allen.
Home Improvement?
Were you watching
Like that was I was watching Home Improvement. I was watching Full House, and what else?
We're old.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. What? Do like, come on. Yes, Full House and Home Improvement. I think I've done a Home Improvement bar. Actually, I really don't remember if I did. I might have to double check. I feel like I've done a Home Improvement bar. If not, I'm gonna keep one and put it there. Yes, of course. Chicken and beef, man. Shouts out to Chicken and Beef.
Yeah,
again.
Calvin.
And everybody that's up in here.
Turned 30. It happened to me. But I'm over there. Yeah.
We also have to say happy belated birthday to you. Yes. Oh yeah. I've already, for me, is each time I've been come to terms with a lot of this stuff. Like at this point, the next things that I'm really focusing on and really working on is not only thriving financially, but also we can say all those areas: physically, mentally, spiritually. But definitely the two main components that I'll just go with the two main components that I'm really trying to thrive in. Financially, it's been pretty good, but I really want to thrive more physically because I want to be able to help my older self be able to be functional and moving. So I need to do my work now so that my older self can be glad at the fact that I stuck to doing this and I'm not having all the extreme achy bones and stuff at like 60, 70. Like I'm still at least somewhat spry in a way, shape, and form. So like I definitely need to hone in on that physical. But I'm also working on, like I said, just the physical and that financial right now. It's very important. But yeah. You and Lil Wayne. There's a Lil Wayne bar that literally said, "Is Weezy F baby?" and the F is for phenomenal.
Give me two other.
Knowing that phenomenal is spelled PH.
Go.
You just did it.
Go. You don't know.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, the other ones I'm not sure. It said no worries. Add forensics.
That F means a lot of different
my
things.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Finisher? Yes. That is sure. That should actually be a quiz for like people in hip hop and be like, give me 5 definitions for Lil Wayne's Weezy F baby stands for what? Like what? And the F is for
You were like, what?
Yes, but I remember phenomenal because that was funny because I'm like, yes, it has the F sound, but it's not his PH. Well, but the way he actually records when he gets into the booth is very similar to some folks that I do now. They do a lot of punch in, punch out. So he's freestyling stuff and he just pieces it together. I don't know if he still uses it to date now, but that was his way. Yeah, Weezy F. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Finisher. I know he had to use Finisher was one of them. I know Finisher had to be one of them. If not, I'm making it up. Again, I didn't get to listen to all of Lil Wayne's mixtape run, all the No Ceilings. I didn't get to.
Part 1.
I wasn't on Lil Wayne like that because I dipped into a different realm. I dipped in.
It's classic.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It was like,
y'all see, y'all giving me stuff. Okay.
It was like that kind of.
See,
it had that kind of response of like, oh my god, because he had all like these different metaphors and it just made sense. And you're like, what? That was wild. That was like,
got you.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, he deserves his flowers.
We gotta give it up to Lil Wayne though. As much as I didn't like. I'll say this: I definitely will say a lot of the content that he spoke on, I didn't necessarily, of course, like, but I'm not going to deny that he did not have no work. This brother had the hardest work, one of the hardest work ethics I've
He
seen,
took
as well
over
as,
for
again,
10
that dope
years.
mixtape run.
He came in
And then
and took over
he had
hip hop
bars.
for 10 years.
He had bars.
Yeah,
He
no,
was killing
definitely came and
everybody's
did
his
it.
features and everything.
He came, did it, went home. He says, "All right, it's y'all."
Yeah, to this date, one of my favorite Lil Wayne features is on Idlewild. Hollywood Divorce is always still my favorite verse from Lil Wayne on there. Because of how he's talking about his neighborhood, how he's talking about Louisiana and
I
everything.
got to see him in Orange
I dig that
County
verse.
and
100%.
in Louisiana and Nolens.
Mm.
Yeah, because Nikki was headlining
Oh,
Up
wow.
Crisss, and I was just like, wouldn't it be dope if she brought Wayne out? But I don't know how his health is, because his health has been up and down lately. And then he actually came out on stage, and he looked healthy, and I was relieved. Because he was not looking good for a while, but he looked healthy, had strength, and it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I think I cried that night.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I think he was a victim. People, that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Not only I'm not going to speak to his experience, but that whole idea of the victim mentality and how that can have a huge impact on how you survive and how you even go into that, which this is the last piece I want to say to the survival, and then we move into the last topic for today. And of course, Chris, you can add more. That's the thing that why a lot of us is not only feeling burnt out, but a lot of us are very anxious. There's a high increase of not only depression, but all the other, mental health that people just been talking about in general, and how that's been such a moving, not only phenomenon, but, movement as of right now is the mental health state. And part of that is when you're in a constant state of stress, a constant state of victimizing yourself, guess what? Your body is working overtime. Even when you're about to go to sleep, or when you're eating, or when you're trying to refuel yourself, your body is still in that fight or flight, freeze, focus, whatever is fun. All of those F's that we're talking about, not only phenomenal, but all of those F's, your body is experiencing those things. It's that primitive process within our bodies that we've learned to evolve over time with, but it still can be turned on very quickly, and we don't have the buttons, if you are not looking into it, to turn it off when properly needed. Because then if not, it's like your light bill. You don't turn any of your lights off. You have them constantly running day in and day out. I know it's like, point of a cent of how much like your light is. But if you continue to just keep all your lights on, appliances running, all of that stuff, your bill's going to be extremely high.
Right.
But in retrospect, or in conjunction with it, that's how you look at not only the victim mentality. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, you be a victim, it's all your fault. No, it's you put yourself in that state of stress so long that sometimes you don't even know how to turn that off. Like I'll give another example. Me working, yes, the boundaries. I give you another example. The students that I work with, they come from an environment that is like that. And me sitting in and letting the students like speak their piece, as well as, tell me about the trauma and the other traumatic things that they went through, what really has like pushed them over this way, as well as their perspective of like how they're seeing stuff. And it just really comes to show me that once you own that stuff and you're able to look at it and understand it for yourself, that's you being able to start slowly turning off that light, slowly turning the dial down. But I can tell you, there's a lot of kids that it makes sense why literally they're like super anxious, and it's because of their environment. I have a few students that literally are anxious throughout the whole day, and I don't know, but I've done this to a number of people. I just happen to just have light feet or something, but I'll just be walking and like they'll turn around real quick and be like this, like, "You're not even here. I didn't see you." It was like, "My bad, I didn't know." But there's a lot of the kids. There's like, I always have to stay on watch and conscious because like this has happened before to me, and like I always have to keep looking. Like I can't just stop, and that in itself is not only troubling, but yes, it's worrying, but it's real. Honestly, it's realistic for them because of the fact of where they live in. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, the hood is a extremely terrible thing, but it's definitely not a place for like character growth in a sense of it comes easy. This is like tough character growth, being in projects, being in hood, wherever, however you want to name it. But there's not a lot of folks who can have that growth outside of that concrete that grew out of the roads. Not it's very far and few when there's so many bright individuals in these places. They just don't have those resources. They don't have those people and have those connections to be able to get themselves from not only having that victim mentality, shouts out to Ice Cube, the hood mentality, but also be able to again slowly turn off that stress so that survival mode is not always on. There's a time where yes, you see a threat, yes, you gonna have your adrenaline pumping, all of that, but we don't need to be feeling that adrenaline 24/7
and starting on the hard level first.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's what you were talking about in here, Chicken Beef. I get you. Yeah. It's something, yes. I'm just saying I'm going back to sleep. I'm mad sick. Well, we sending you some healing energy, brother. Thank you for popping in. There's always going to be more of these. But, yes, I'm going to keep saying it, y'all. It's the final season. So, until we get to December, this is it right here. But, yeah, feel better notes. Much love to you, my brother. You already know. Any things you wanted to add here, Chris, to Survival Chronicles? Any last point? Okay. We all good. Don't worry. All right. For all those, again, if you want to come through, just know you're more than welcome to pop on. We got 2 more spots. If not, it's all good and well. I appreciate y'all's time and y'all attention being here. We're going to go into the last topic for tonight. And then from there, we're going to wrap out. And we're going to have this first episode done and out. But before we go to the next topic, I'm looking at the comments. You said my acid reflux has been worse today. Well, we sending you also the same healing and the same love to Kundin. So now we want to send that to you, sis. And now I believe in mystical when when the healing energy. One sign gives the best healing energy. I'm talking about from that spiritual sense. I'm not talking about from the astronomical and the zodiac sense. Yes, you can say some of that's all tied together, but in a sense, I'm on. If we gonna talk about a needle, like I'm there, dead in the middle. I may be waning over the more spiritual side this way versus the more astrological other side over here. It's like I'm moving as I'm learning. But I'll say this to your point, and then we'll move to the next question. Is we have an aura though? We definitely have an aura. We have, when we speak to each other, that's why people talk about, get off my vibe, man, get on my frequency, like I feel the vibration and stuff. And it's because when we speak, that's what we send out. This feedback, back and forth, the sound that we send, this is frequency regardless. That's why there's a such thing, I'm going to get into, y'all going to laugh at me. There's a such thing as when we curse and we cussing at each other, we send in those words. Words are powerful. They're frequency. So they have an effect on people. Like I can say the most demeaning and terrible things to Chris or any other person on the street, and just to see their reaction, like you send harm with your words. So when I'm saying like this, sending out energy and things like that, like in a sense, it's because I know how powerful not only words are, but just gestures in itself. The body language is very important because we have that aura. But yeah, that's how I see it. If you're going to be like, how you going to talk about it, criticize it, be a hypocrite, all right, you can get whatever, you get me on that. But that's how I see it from my perspective.
Where it had a physiological response to me where my throat chakra was like blocked. Like I felt the energetic like charge, like from the feet up. I was like, whoa, from somebody's words. Like, and that was crazy. But it was a specific circumstance, and I don't want to get into all of the logistics, but some people are powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I will just say that. Some people harbor power.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And that all that mixture too with the survival, you gotta figure that out. It's hard. But with that, y'all, let's move to the last topic for tonight, which again, I appreciate everybody being here. The last topic that we got for tonight, and then we've kind of, touched bases on it, but if y'all didn't know, I always set these topics up on purpose the way that they are. If you ain't catching it now, they always have something that ties into them. But the last topic for tonight is what drives us to stay above the ground. So I know I told y'all earlier in the live that if you didn't know what your why was, and that's basically what this is what your why is now, you're going to figure it out tonight. And what I mean by that is I'm going to leave some questions for y'all to ask yourselves to figure this stuff out. And what I mean by you're going to have it done by tonight, at least you're going to start the questioning. I'm not going to say you're going to get the whole process done, but you're going to start the questioning. But with that being said,
you have
Chris, did you want to start off talking about what drives you to stay above ground?
Yeah, I want to hear the question.
I have homework? Oh, as in questions. Okay. Oh, okay. Again, a lot of this stuff would be, again, it's off the top, but it's asking you. You said, so of course the first thing is, what do you value the most in this life? Or, yeah, we'll say, what do you value the most, and then I'll have a Carrie question along with it, but go ahead.
Changed, but I think my time was on there, my comfort was on there, my friendships, I think those are like the ones I did this. I wrote it like all out, so I don't know if they've changed, but those are the ones off the top of my head. Yeah.
Again, for all those who are out there too, the question is, what do you value the most in this life? Again, yes. And then again, that's why she gave multiples. That's really where I really was reaching for it. So once you answer that first question of what you value the most there in life is, how much time do you dedicate to those things? And if it's saying that you have time, how much time do you give yourself to experience the time? How much time do you give yourself to build your relationships? How much time do you give yourselves to your hobbies, whatever it is? So how much time do you give to those things that you value the most?
None. Very little ever since I moved up. Very, very little. It's very sad. Yeah.
That the reason, and look, I'm glad. Thank you for being transparent and being honest. The reason why I had that as at least a follow-up question is because we're able to at least list. So we have what we know is important to us, but now it's the action part that we need to put on that is then how much time are you delving into a lot of this stuff? Because it can be, for example, it's like me and honestly some of the technology and stuff that I buy. I just buy it for that momentary feel because I know I'm going to need this eventually. But the thing is, it'll just sit there. And I don't give the time and effort to either if it's learning more photography, if it's learning literally to do more editing, playing video games and things of that sort. But what happens when you just pile up on those things and you have such a long list of things that you find that, you value the most, if you don't give no time and no effort into any of that, eventually it's going to weigh heavy in the back of your mind, and you're going to feel guilty on the fact that you don't give yourself for any of that time, for any of those things. And that's just more baggage for you, more stress that you don't want to be carrying. I'm not saying that life is going to be fully stress-free. No, stress is another indicator to let us know that we're still alive and living. But there's a such thing as good stress, and of course, it's the bad stress. But all of the stresses, stress your letters, stress your mind, wherever you want to stress your body, push it so you get stronger. But it's to help take that load off, so that you know where you're not only able to give out time to, but those things that you value the most will bring out a lot of that enjoyment, a lot of that happiness, a lot of that joy. And again, it doesn't always have to necessarily be something outside of you, because that's something that you need to start with in the beginning inside yourself, figuring that stuff out. Because once you start to pinpoint each one of those, look at, I'm not talking like I know all of this stuff. This is just from what I've learned through my experiences. So that's the reason why I'm talking from my experience. I'm not no wise old person with a mustache and all of this stuff. It's literally what I've experienced and learned. So I pass it on. But it's important because I'm still doing it myself. I'm not only just saying this stuff to say it, I'm also living it myself. But the more that you're able to give yourself time around all these areas, it helps to alleviate that stress. And it's important that we do that, because then that's how you're going to build more of your experiences. That's how you're going to continue to be able to survive. If you don't give yourself time to figure out your next move and give yourself time just to chill and reflect, how are you going to be able to improve and grow? That's how usually a lot of things happen. You got to be able to sit back and evaluate what you're doing. If you keep running with shoes that are basically ain't got no more grip at the end of your body, eventually you're going to keep on slipping. Life is going to give you a reality check, and it's going to make you stop. That's what we also call burnout or passion fatigue. There is going to be a physical stop somehow, somewhere, but being able to start this with figuring out those things that you value the most and be able to divvy that time, it helps to, again, that manage. The whole idea of the manage, maintaining, the thriving, and other way around for folks. That's how you're able to figure out your level. Because guess what? We all on different levels too. From the things that you value the most to how much time do you divvy up to those. The next question I have along with that is, you've already written that stuff down, but for other folks, if you haven't written this stuff down, please write it down. So then again, you have it there. But the other question to ask to that is, from knowing what you value to how much time do you put into it, how do you envision those things impacting your overall journey or goal? So I don't know what that could be. So, for example, for me, a lot of the stuff that I value, I agree with you. I definitely do value time. To me, time is one of the most important things that you can ever have and give to people. Love, of course, is another one, yes. But time, because it's very valuable, because you can't buy time. You can't rewind and go back and be like, man, I need another 15 minutes. Let me go back and get that 15 minutes.
All of my appointments come late.
So... But... like, time is so valuable to me. So there's sometimes there are some times where, yes, I waste it, but knowing how you're using it, again, how it applies, I'm giving up the time. So time is important to me. I agree with you. Family is. I usually like to send out messages to folks on my phone, or if I get to go and visit them, I make sure I take that time to do so. Another thing that's important to me is, my work and what I do, whether if that's making music or honestly working with the youth. That's my number one, really, is working with the youth is where I find that I value the most. And it's because of the fact that not only what I can learn and what I can share, but really selfishly what I get in return for doing that. And that's being able to have a better understanding, understanding, overstanding, outer standing. Yes, all the 4 standings, stand up, about, I'm being extra, about how to be of service. Because that's what I've learned going through this life. It's just not about me. It's about us and how we can be of service to other people. Because that's what it is. You're going to be experiencing people throughout your life. So life is about connections, relationships with people. So that's very vital and important to me. So those are always there. And that's a part of my white statement, which I'll read it later because I have it on my phone. But how I end up implementing into my goal is for me to be able to have that impact. I knew I wanted to be I wanted to not only to go in social work. I honestly didn't, but I found my way there somehow. But I wanted to be a school counselor, and that's just been sitting there for years. I just wanted to be a school counselor. I don't know how I was going to get there, where I was going to get there, when it's going to happen, but it was going to make my way there. And I kept those things in mind of like, that's what's going to ground me. And once I got to it, I went back and I saw how that has an impact on a daily basis. Working with kids when I do that, I'm doing that on a daily basis. I've noticed when I was in schools and we'll be on breaks or when COVID hit, I honestly felt it. Like that was one thing I'm like, I'm missing out on having that youthful interaction with students and be able to either help them, whether it's had to do with assignments, whether that's just being another person to just do activities and things with them. I was missing that piece. And that was because it was a part of me that, again, I get that joy from. So once I was able to figure out how that goes in my daily process, I was able to figure out my whole plan and continue to move it from there, which I have a motto for those who don't know, but my motto that I use for me on a daily basis, if not weekly basis, is I say, keep your pace. And that stands for your patience, your awareness, your consistency, and empathy. And for me, that helps to give me a whole well-rounded view and perspective on not only how my day's going, but also how am I being patient when it comes to other people, folks, and things around me? How aware am I being when it comes to my actions, thoughts, deeds, like the whole setup? And again, it all goes in line with my goal because ultimately, shouts out to Lauryn Hill, shouts out to my brother Rob, his brother, that everything is everything. And once you start to make those connections, it makes it a lot more easier of a load for you to be able to hold up and carry versus doing it on your own. There's enough for us to be, of course, independent, but there's also a time for interdependence where we're, again, working collaboratively with each other to figure this stuff out, as well as lean on me, all of that stuff. So it's all good, Chris. It is all good. I still haven't, again, I'm not fully mastered the whole crack the code and everything else, but right now, the structure that I got works for me and it works for me. So all y'all out there, again, make sure that you write this stuff down. If you need to go back, rewind, and go through all that stuff again, at least I'll just say it right here again. Being the first question, again, was, what are the things that you value most in life? What do you value the most? Look through that. Then the next one is, how much time do you delve or give to those things that you value? And then the third one is, how does those things tie into your overall goals or accomplishments or just things that you want to achieve? And you see where I'm starting to at least let it go with a lot of this stuff is basically I'm trying to have you build on your why, because there's multiple things that can drive us. For some people, it's that basis level again, like I need food, I need water, I need shelter, I need clothes, I need sex, all this other stuff that people can be using that drives them. But taking it to, of course, the next few levels of the pyramid that I said some people have discredited, remixed, and elevated in way, shape, and form. But it just goes to show that there's important time that yes, we're going to maintain, but we got to do more than just maintain.
What is it?
And we got to find a way to be able to grow within that time. Yeah. Sustain is the same thing of maintain, because like you're still in that same spot. That's why I'm saying you need to, you got your growth. I'm not saying you need to do it, but yes. We had an episode about the two interdependence and interdependence, right? Not that I remember, Kunde. No, not necessarily. The thing is, a lot of these topics, they sound like we've talked about before, but we haven't. And yeah, my voice just cracked. But we haven't talked about it before. It's just that, again, a lot of this stuff is very tied together. It just happens to come out that way. Again, the truth or truths, whatever it is, a lot of this stuff, again, it comes up and it repeats itself because a lot of it does not change. It doesn't. And what I mean by that is what you've learned and what you know, a lot of things just tie together. And that, to me, is the point when it comes to really learning and growing, is you come to find out how that what you're learning in school, what you're learning at the job, experience with people who may frustrate you, all of this stuff, how does this tie back to me? And it all goes, again, comes full circle. But yeah, let's see. Before I let you answer just the question off again, I'm thinking, do I have one last
To go with the
question
F.
along with that so we can have a four, the 4 4 4s of all the questions? Yeah, to go with all the F's, the phenomenals and all of that, the
No
ferociouses,
fight.
and hopefully no fights.
Mm.
We don't want you to be fictitious, okay?
Okay,
Don't be
here we
fake,
go. There we go.
but show
There we
fidelity, all
go.
right? Show some faithfulness.
It's okay. I
You
still
see, look, I got
like
words. I'm a
monsters.
little
It's okay.
thesaurus here and there. Thesaurus.
I know.
They have a thesaurus for
That's my
Webster
brand.
too.
I like that brand.
Oh my goodness. All right. All right. Hilarious. Then the last question I got, besides how does this tie into your the ultimate goals, or things that you want to accomplish, is when are you going to start?
Let me see if I can translate.
Very short and to the point. Very short to the point. When are you going to start? When are you going to start?
Right.
And what I mean by that is, you got the things that you value the most. You've either delved or you haven't put any time. You put time or haven't put any time into this. You're still figuring it out, or you've at least got an idea of how it fits into your ultimate goal. Now, when are you going to start? When are you going to accomplish this stuff, or when are you going to go about and go through these things? So the fourth one is basically is really the call to action, at the same time the piece to the evaluation. So when are you going to do it? And
so it's a two-part.
When are you going to do it, and how are you going to do it?
So I told myself,
yes.
Okay, let me translate. Spring season. It's a new spring. I said that's when we're starting. Spring. It's the beginning of the energetic new year.
All right.
Spring. That's what I said. Spring. Now, how am I going to go about it? Right now, I'm in a lot of even more research. But I feel like I'm always researching, but yeah, just more research. Just more research. Just want to dot my I's and cross my T's.
Okay. Then, just because how you said that, we need to have a final process and a final question, because it's been, I appreciate you, because you helping. Hilarious. Again, I didn't pre-plan any of this stuff. It's just coming from how it's going. But the part is, we got to also figure out, the when. And so, like that, he said the when in the house, like the when needs to be like very specific, because like you said, you're going to be researching, and we have to have some type of cutoff time to where, again, we're going to keep researching, but it's a whole cycle of things. Because then the last part of the question is, how effective was that research then? Because then we got to sit back. Have you applied that, and how effective is it? Because then that's the end part, is now we're doing the evaluation of it. We picked out what we value. We figured out, okay, I'm gonna delve around this much time for each one of these things. Then we figured out, or we're gonna figure out how it all applies here. All right, so now how are we gonna start it, and when are we gonna start it, and how are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it, do this, and that. Okay, and then put it into action. Now, how are we going to, like I said, the last part, which is basically the evaluation. You saw how effective is it, and is things about what can you change? Because it's going to be a whole thing. It's a whole cycle. It's a whole evaluation and stuff, because you're going to continue to come back and forth to this stuff. Your why doesn't necessarily, it doesn't have to necessarily change, but there's pieces of it that might get added on as you keep going through this, because again, life is cyclical. Why you think I got these questions like this. Life is cyclical. It's just not a standard timeline to the way it just ends like that. It's cyclical. It moves in a circle. So you got to look at it that way, because that's why the seasons move the way that they do. Not each season is always going to stay there and be the same, even though California acts weird, and California could end up being in the winter season and it still be raining, and it can still be raining when we get into the summer.
Okay?
But
because there was a
again,
tornado
that's
in
why you.
Montebello. I was like, what?
Funny thing is, I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know nothing about it. I think who said something about it? It might have been FaZe or somebody else spoke on it, but
it was violent.
I didn't have no impact on it, so I didn't know. You know, you could be hearing classical music on, on the trainway and everything, and flashing lights. You know, Kanye West come out there, all of that. But yeah, it's so all of those questions again is just really a full fold to just figure out and ask your why, which I should go ahead and I'm going to share. I'm going through my notes right now, but share my particular like why and setup of what I came to have. What do I value? Oh yeah, I went back to you. So the first one was time. So like I value time for sure. Yeah, it was time. But of course I was saying that I value my time spent with the students and the youth that I work with. Yeah. But for me it's really time. It's time, relationships. I'll even add solitude. So time, relationships, solitude, and with that solitude and a lot of this stuff does come peace. Because then the peace for me, because y'all, I love acronyms. Chicken and Beef was already in there doing the most, talking about I'm from the temple of TOA, which is a temple of acronyms. But for me, peace stands for piecing everything all together to create essence. So putting that all into perspective to find my peace. So yes, the time, relationships, solitude, and it helps me find my peace and that pace. But as I'm looking for it, Chris, you got any more for you outside of what we talked about when it comes to what drives you on a daily basis?
That's a really great question. I don't know. I've been told I'm resilient. That's always the critique. I don't know. I just go. I could not answer that question. I just get up and then I just go. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Until like
just
you
keep
said,
going and
happens,
going and going and going and going. Yes.
And then I get up and I go.
Yeah. Because
I don't know. It's a good question. Because I don't know what's keeping me going. But I'm grateful to be, going. So it's not like I'm not gonna question it too hard,
Yes.
I'm doing it.
You'll find your time. Right now it works. To everybody out there, I'm not saying you need to change your methods and things like that, but there's always going to be updates and some changes and frictions. So anytime y'all get breaks and stuff, you can utilize that time for, I'm not saying, of course, you have to figure this all out. It's just, if there's things lingering in your life that that can be better, or you want to improve on because it's something inside of you that want to do it, go for it. If you're like, nah, I'm cool where I'm at, like everything else is fine, like I'm maintaining, doing what I need to do, I ain't got to change anything, all good. I'm not saying that you need to. Like, if it works, it works. But make sure you keeping that maintenance happening, because yes, there's going to be the point in time where you are going to need to.
Yes, you are.
Let's see. Am I back? All right. See, when I should have forgot to put my phone on airplane mode because I knew something would be happening, stuff popping up on my screen. But there's going to be an important time where you're going to have to look at it and evaluate stuff. And if your structure still works, boom, that's perfect. That's all I'm saying is, like, be willing to look back on stuff. You got to chill. We can't keep running day in and day out all the time. But to share with y'all, so how I stated for me is whys in life. So these I have multiple whys, which is you can be what I call life missions or my legacies. So the first one, it says to uplift and guide the youth in finding their truth and supporting their growth as individual, in parentheses says beings in this life. And what I had in other parentheses is either as a school professional, a coach, a guide, role model, etc. So that's one of the first few ones in my life. And honestly, like to this date, it's for sure still there. For sure. The second one is to uplift and love friends, family through connecting, sharing my thoughts, sharing time with them, and supporting them when I can. And again, for me, I like to do the texting. I like doing the calling. I like doing the content. Honestly, this one right here, What's the Word Wednesdays is one of them, as well as when I'm doing all my other shows and going to shows. At a point in time, I was driving people places, even though I don't like driving. So if I ever drove you somewhere, you just know that was because I really appreciated you and I gave you a lot of time too. Like, again, that's like my top up there. And then the last one that I have, which is to inform, express, and uplift myself and others through music while creating a vision and way of life. So that's through me making music, finding balance, finding my peace through life with the words that I say, looking at myself in the mirror, meditating, keeping my pace. Like I said, my motto, patience, awareness, consistency, and so forth. But those are my whys. Those are how I conceptualized all of this stuff that I valued. And all three of those take time. So that's why time is like the number one up there for me, is because all of this takes time. I may necessarily have gotten to these stuff. Some of these I didn't even get to yet, and I wrote this out. But it is important for you to write these things down, figure these things out when you can. Because I know how hectic life is. We on survival mode almost 24/7. I understand it. But there has to be a time where we got to be able to let the wounds heal and be able to evaluate how I could better not only avoid, but dodge certain situations that either you've been previously in or that you could anticipate, so that you come out less scathed. That's really the most of that.
Wow. Yeah, I could see you as a coach, Coach Cal. Yeah.
Funny thing is, the kids were hyped at the school because the school does not have a basketball team, and like they was like rallying up trying to find people and stuff. Like a few people was coming for like a basketball or football team, and like some of them ran to me and it was like Mr. Calvin, it was like, can you be the football, can you be the basketball? And I was like, I'm already the counselor. I don't know about being all this coaches and all of that stuff. Like, I'm like, I don't know about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. which is again, it was just hilarious. It's hilarious, but again, it's great in the sense of, for me, the important thing with making those connections and building rapport with the students is being able to show that, again, that you can build with somebody that's outside of your family and be able to learn how to build relationships in a positive way. And know that there's people out there to support you and help you be able to be aware of those signs, learn those boundaries, all of that stuff. So when they get comfortable with wanting to share a lot, because I've heard a lot from students that I've appreciated, and it helped me understand them even more. And also, I just don't come off that way, because I learned early on in my career working with kids and students and stuff, is that if I can't be real with myself, they're not going to be real with me. So I learned that very, very early. And once I did that, that's why so many students would be comfortable sharing stuff with me, letting me know about this stuff, why the teacher's doing this, just being in that space where that, yes, they can still be kids and not be afraid to share those things and be afraid to be a kid. Because nowadays we grow up too fast. These kids grow up too fast. They miss out on their childhood and being able to just be carefree in a sense. Like, there's things that of course they got to care about, but be carefree. A lot of them already, I've spoken with them, they're like, man, I want to make money, I already want to be this, I already be that. And I'm like, how old are you? Enjoy this time right now, because guess what, after 18 or whatever up to 21, guess what you're gonna be for the rest of your life?
No.
an adult for the rest of your life. You ain't
Yeah.
coming back to that. You're going to be on it. So literally, I know you want to, I'll be like, I know you want to get to this. I know you want to feel this particular thing, but you're going to get to a point where you're going to need to
and just be okay with it.
Have fun. Have fun with this. Because after that, yeah, you're just going to be being an adult. Yeah, you're going to have bills, responsibilities, all of that stuff. Like, responsibility is a beautiful thing. Shouts out to the brother, Chairman Dallas. I see you, my G. Responsibility is a beautiful thing. But when you've not set yourself up for that, it adds more to that stress. It adds more to that whole survival mechanism that's making you want to turn this way and that way. So have fun with life and where you at. So like when I be hearing that and seeing that from the kids, it just reminds me to tell them that, because what they share is very vital. And at the same time, being able to be their thought partner in figuring this stuff out so that they know, like, of course, I tell them I don't know everything because I don't. I laugh because, like you said, Chris, he's like, oh, you're sage and wise. There's at least 3 or 4 kids who each and every time I share some stuff, they just be like, I'll be like, I don't know everything and stuff, and I can't fix all the I can't fix all these problems. And one of them, they be like, yes, you can. You can fix anything because I did this and I'm like, I appreciate your confidence, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to figure out and finish all of this stuff together. But I want to give you the keys. Appreciate you, my G. Good to see you in here, man. Good to see you back. I'm not going to be able to, figure out all this stuff for you. So I want you to experience that so then when it's time and you about to make your move to being an adult, becoming older, you can look back on this stuff and be like, oh, yeah, I remember Mr. Calvin talk about this. Or I remember my mom. I remember there's other people around. So for me, it's being able to build that community, because that's what we're missing out on, too. It's the true community building. And it's not to always, be authoritarian or just be like, you did this wrong, did that wrong. It's like, explain it. Be like, why is that not the case? Give multiple options. Let them know what these look like. It's the more information and the more real that you be with the people, the better that you're able to, not only people, but the kids, whoever else, that you're able to widen their perspective on stuff. And that's the point. And that's really, honestly, as we get older, that's why I speak a lot more. Before, I still observe. Is one of the best teachers, is observation. But now I'm at that point where it's like, I want to share my thoughts and give that out to kids, give it out to people, so that literally, if we haven't seen this happen, if you've never been through and experienced this, I want to tell you it now, so that you don't have to be taking another 5, 10, or even 15 years to be able to like figure this stuff out, or look at the puzzle piece and be like, I think it fits there. But yeah, all right, we're gonna let the brother come in because I just saw right now. My bad, my G. But yeah, we finishing up on this last topic. Let's see what he got besides the ceiling.
I'm waiting for that smile. Where is it?
Yo. This dude, this dude is in a different color. You don't know, my man. But shouts out to everybody that's up in here, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. We already like towards the end and everybody jumping in, which I appreciate, man. Shouts out to my boy Angel, aka I already see you in here with Dolpho. Camden, good to see you up in here. I'm gonna be back on the Rhymes Masters freestyles. I'm gonna be on it this Friday. Shouts out Chicken Beef. Kundin is in here. My boy Sabu. And then, of course, Chris and Chairman Dallas. Appreciate y'all.
What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all doing today?
We good, Gene. We good. We finishing up the last question, which I'm gonna let you go ahead and say your piece with it too. The last one that we've been talking about, this whole concept of not only survival, but literally what drives us and what is our why. What's your why? What helps you get up every day to keep pushing and doing what you do?
Well, let me tell y'all something. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think part of it. I feel like part of it is what you said. Just understanding that you don't really understand everything, and you and what you understand.
Mm.
Thinking,
Mm.
I was thinking too much
Continue.
about it. It leads you to a place of not certain chances, certain risks. There actually live that
Mm.
a lot of people want to live, whether they say it or not. Just some people really they because they, you know, they understand.
You're going in and out. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now or no?
A little bit better.
All right, keep
But
going, my
yeah,
G.
nah,
Let's see.
it's really just when it comes to what it is, man. It's really just getting your mind together, like getting your together where you're not
Mm.
always reacting to things that's going on. You more so you can see it happening, and that comes with that
Mm-hmm.
part where you said earlier about like when people get older, they start talking, teaching more. But sometimes you can teach silently too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've taught people, teams, my
Mm-hmm.
shorties, like a lot of my greatest teachings. Like yeah, they listen to what I say, but more so they listen to like when I be quiet and I just do certain things, and they be like, and when they figure it out, and I see them when they figure it out, because it just their understanding goes through a whole new level, you know. So I think always pushing yourself to
Mm-hmm.
reach new levels. That's the best reason, man. Like, cause if you ain't doing something
Yeah.
productive with your time here on Earth, man, I don't know. Like, if you're not helping yourself and then helping somebody else, I'm not saying you got to help everybody right away. For some folks, baby, help yourself first. If you can help one person, that's
Yeah.
still helping a lot. So yeah, and just keep reaching new levels.
Yeah. I dig that. I dig that, brother. I mean, it goes back to what we was talking on when we was on the phone, G, where you was just putting into perspective on how not only with that overthinking, but knowing what's best for you so that then you can be a servant for others. Because I spoke on that earlier. Because again, this life is
That's
about relationships
my
with other
that's
people.
my good brother,
What's
man.
going on, Santi? What's going
He be
on?
having, if y'all need
Uh,
oils, herbs, shea butter, anything like that, aroma, that man got it. Y'all hit that man up.
yeah, there it is. There it is. But yeah, it's very important to be able to get to that point. Is for you to fully be of service to others. Is you have to be able to serve to yourself. Because I'm grateful not only for y'all always coming through, and I'm gonna keep saying it is because that like I genuinely am, because without y'all, this conversation, these talks and things like this would not happen. This platform would not be what it is if it wasn't for y'all. While at the same time, I'm grateful for all the people who created the technology, the lights, all this other different stuff, because any of these pieces together, I would not be able to not only do what I do, but we wouldn't be able to
Now
build,
I was
have
gonna
a
say, who's
community,
chicken
and
and beef
continue to
again?
push like we do. Go ahead, brother. Oh,
Oh,
chicken and beef. That's a brother, man. He is a Mr. Businessman, Mr. Businessman, aka he is the
I
chat
remember that
troll.
name
Like
one
he
time
do
we was
he got
growing up. I
multiple jobs.
remember
That's
that
all I'm gonna
name.
say.
You feel? Nah, go ahead. I ain't
Yeah, man. Yes, man. Like, oh You good. Because we was literally towards the ends on this conversation. I was like asking Chris, and I
Man,
went
how you
through
been,
a
boss
number
lady?
of different questions for folks. If I was
I'm
like,
good. I'm waiting for that smile.
Oh, look, I'm eating from the hose. I just got done with an intense workout, and then another
Ah,
workout after that workout.
you are drained.
I just ate some good food.
Right. I was wondering. I was like, I hope you're
oh,
okay.
he's on
Did you
I'm
finish
his
your
good.
boba?
relaxation phase.
Yeah.
He about his
Nah,
business.
and
Like
and
for
that's
real,
and
he
that's
is.
and
He
speaking on what
is.
he just said, like just
Um.
being about my business. For all those who know me, who don't know me, I really want to tell y'all, man, like the things, these things that me and Mr. Avis talk about off camera, you know, and but like some of those things are related to these topics on a more in-depth level. But it's all the same thing. I always in my head I always say that it's all the same thing. It's just about how you view it, you know. When I got introduced to my certain skill
Mhm.
sets that I have, I take the same mind frame. Yes, there's certain little tweaks that I've made when it comes to, okay, maybe the approach is this way, but then doing it that way led me through an experience to understand how effective is that. And what I had to understand was if I keep
Yeah.
it like my pop said, fair across the board, and just we do what needs to get done, the results is there, you know. So all of these things play a factor into why people keep going, why people don't give up on themselves. Because it's real easy to hit that road or hit that wall or that bump and then stop, you know, for a lot of folks, you know, like, and I
Hmm.
I told this to one of my shouties
Yeah.
before, man. I said a lot of people, they say they believe in God, but I said you ain't really been through nothing to even, you know, test to that. But only when you go through something, it's what you do in that moment that you're going through something that's
Mm.
helping you understand yourself and define
Yeah.
yourself in certain areas. And it's not to say you got to go do the most. You can do it. I'm
Mm.
not saying don't go do the most outrageous best thing. But if you don't go do the outrageous, as long as you figure something out in that moment that's gonna help you be better, you you did some work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. And I'm gonna take this from a brother who's in the chat right now. I'm gonna keep saying his name because I love this brother. Shouts out to Sabu Smooth. I just recently saw an interview that he did about his journey as a guitarist and all the dope things that he's done. One half of the booth in the building, he spoke about the whole idea of tension and how
Mm.
when it comes to the tension and growth, the only way that literally you can grow is from coming out of uncomfortable situations. And there's a whole diagram they have of like your safe zone, your learning zone, your comfort zone, you know, the day, whatever zones. But he had the metaphor of it too. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in here, Sabu. It's just like I watched it and I remember bits and pieces. But he talked about literally of like planting the seed into the ground and then you put in the the dirt over the seed so that eventually that literally from that tension from the ground and from the water of watering the seed that it pushes through the ground to come up and sprout and grow. So same thing with your body. You just had your intensive workouts you just used the intensive your workouts. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
do not come through some type of tension or some type of push from the outside force, you're not going to be able to experience that growth. Just like we were talking earlier, Chris, about you were talking about anything beyond down here is drowning. Yeah, for us to really know what that is, we have to not only go through experience it, but now you have that level. You're not going to know truly what it means to be afloat and to be
Mm-hmm.
really moving along the
That was
surface
deep
is
enough.
if you haven't fell
I
from
got one
down into the
question.
surface.
Are you married, gang? You.
Who? Oh, y'all, I always like putting a ring right here on my finger, man. Nah, bro. I'm definitely not. It's just that this fits on the ring finger. I usually like to put it on the middle finger, but it doesn't fit my middle finger. I have to get other
Nah,
rings,
yeah.
I was
so it
gonna be
stays
like,
on the
dang,
ring
it's
finger.
only
But
been
no,
like
I am
6
not.
months. I
You are
haven't
hilarious
heard
though.
anything.
But that was
Where's my
off
announcement?
when they
Where's
got
my
married on the
invitation?
kid. Hold on.
Rude.
Oh no,
All
no,
right.
it's definitely happening. Look, I'm still maneuvering this life. Like I told you, I still have no clue on how to. A lot of this stuff in this life right now is indescribable. But one word that I can definitely say that it is definitely been perversed.
Stranger
It's
Things.
been reversed. I feel like we're upside down right now, or if not even upside down, we're like planking right now. I feel like we're planking. We're not
It's
even like a
happening.
handstand, but maybe like somewhat like a plank or something like that. But yeah. Avis, don't do that to yourself. That's false advertising.
That's cool.
I like wearing rings and jewelry, y'all. Like I brought these rings thinking that they was gonna fit on this finger. It did for a moment in time, but this is what happens when again you start getting comfortable and you don't challenge yourself. I had to get back to working out, and then it's
Got
eventually gonna go
Chucky
right
on the
back on the
game.
finger. The finger got a little,
It's
little
okay.
chubby. That's it.
We're 30 now.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens.
So I gotta get my workout in. Oh yeah, man. ADV off the market. Shut up. Y'all are hilarious. I'm not false advertising nothing. I barely be out anyways. Like the only time people is catching me is if I'm at a show performing or I'm there supporting somebody with my cameras. Like this
Hey,
one.
who
Let me
was dope
pull. I'm about
female
to pull
trainer?
this one
You
out
know
from
her?
right here if I can.
That's your camera you take out? Is it
My
Canon,
cam.
Sony? Sony.
Yeah. It's the ZVE10.
Sony.
Nah, it's the Sony. Yeah.
Sony and
Sony, if you only
Who
know that
is
is
that?
only dope female trainer. Shouts out to you. Peace and love. Peace and love. To be truthful, is somebody that
Chicken and
I'm
beef.
not too
Y'all
sure of.
acting
I've
up in
only
her.
seen pop up a few
I'm a
times.
Dallas
Yeah,
fan.
y'all acting up in here. That usually be what happened
My
when
cousin
these two
son.
come together. These two come together at the bottom.
I'm
But yeah, not better fill frame there. Now it's better. You can like see it for real. But yeah. Like I got shots on here and everything from like previous shows that I went to. Shouts out to Blue. Shouts out to Definite Mass. I'm doing all my shots out right now. Shouts out to Illy Smokes, all them folks, bars.
That's so.
But like I swear, I've been doing and I've been going recently, going out to places, which I will be as of right now. I haven't announced it to other people, but as of right now, April 29th, I
hey,
will be performing
what you
at
hey
the
chicken,
Love
chicken,
Nest
what you mean, man?
for
This is he one of the hosts?
never came back to random thoughts. No, Chicken and Beef is one of the execs behind all of that. I know I shouldn't be
He
putting out
gotta
the information
he
and stuff.
gotta
I'm not
talk
gonna
to me
say
off
all of it.
camera.
That's
We
up
gotta
to
have a
him.
talk off
But
camera.
yeah, he's over there.
Nah, yeah. Hey, on some real stuff. Hey,
All right,
A lot going
businessman to
on.
hey,
businessman.
send me your number and we'll talk off camera for real.
So, I
It is.
would like to let you know, I'm planning to be out in LA
Yeah.
at the end of May um, to the 6th of June.
Okay.
You
I
a
should
fan?
be still
You
here.
a fan of CJ or you a fan of me?
We've gotta link up.
Okay.
Yeah, pick me up too. We're gonna
Definitely.
go get some of
'Cause
that
I'm
food.
gonna be working on some stuff, you know.
I never know where you are, Dallas, so I can't pick you up.
I'm down.
I can't pick you up.
Oh,
You gotta
Dallas
just
is
meet us.
Dallas be everywhere at this point. He be everywhere.
He just gotta fly in.
He be everywhere.
Oh yeah, he's at the yacht. He's trying to get us
You're
into
gonna miss the
he
boat
wants us to
ride.
go to a yacht
Y'all be
party.
still doing this Waller
Yes,
analogy?
yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, his. Yes.
Oh,
I'm gonna
you
have
didn't
to like
tell
again.
me.
I know that's gonna be
You didn't tell me
your
the
born day,
date.
your birthday.
No.
Yeah, he got that going. The only props. Well, he gonna give all the details. If y'all come also over to Random Thoughts Talk series and also Pain the Power. Shouts out to Brown Girl Interrupting. If y'all go check that stuff out too, he's over there doing a lot of the things there too. So he will plug this stuff. But yes, go to the main source if you want to get all of this. Go to the main source.
Yeah, party.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Yes. Shout out to LA Hotbox Studios, which I gotta reach out to y'all too, and I gotta reach out to for else because I know for not only an interview but something else. But yeah, I gotta tap back in. But yeah, say I might come to Northern Cali for the Jazz Fest. Funny thing, I've never been to Northern Cali. Oh, it's hilarious. I've been everywhere else, but Northern Cali,
you ain't missing nothing.
It's hilarious.
I done had shorties fly down from up that way. Bro, you ain't missing nothing. You ain't missing.
Oh my goodness. All right. Through all this shenanigans going on,
hold on.
I'm gonna go ahead. We gonna move to
say what drives
the final thoughts, and we gonna wrap up. Oh, she was here.
Word.
She had said it. You came in like right when we was doing that. Yeah, like you said, like you came in on the last end part, like what was about to be done. Hey, you'll love Northern Cali. All right, yeah. Well, the funny thing is, shouts out. I'm not gonna put them out there, but I know two brothers that live up in Northern Cali, and I'm gonna make my way up there so then I can finally say that I've been up there.
I ended up in Vegas, and now I'm all the way in Maryland.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna be going to Vegas in the next couple of days. My grandmother's birthday is on Saturday, so we're gonna be out there around that time.
When I'm not there.
I know, that's hilarious. It's hilarious. Like all that time I haven't been out to Vegas. We would normally go as a family very frequently, at least like 5 times a year. We would go. Yeah. Yeah. That's my grandma.
Hey, we can't cuss on here, huh?
Probably not.
Shouts out to my grandma.
Probably not.
You've already been doing that.
Yeah, I hate it. That's why I'm not
to her.
there anymore.
I feel it. I know people got their love-hate relationship with Vegas. I know.
You ain't have fun out there, Chris?
Y'all can say all that here and there.
Like, I couldn't find foundation. It was not the place for me. I didn't find a lot of like-minded people out there.
Oh yeah, let me tell you what Vegas is about. Vegas is just like what they say. It's Sin City.
Oh, I know.
Let me tell you that.
Oh, I've lived there and I've stomped my foot a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, no morals.
Vegas lit. Hey, Vegas lit. That's all we gonna say on that.
It's like no wonder. I get it. I understand. It is Sin City. I've had so many epiphanies on my balcony.
Let me say this: Vegas is only lit during the nighttime. If you walk through Vegas during the daytime, it don't even feel the same. I was walking through. I said, "This don't even look like where we was at last night."
Camden, I'll answer your question, and then I'm gonna make sure that we transition out for final thoughts, or at least for it to wrap up. But for me personally, because I don't do any of all the super nighttime, all that stuff. I'm a boring dude. I would say as a kid it was. As a kid, I had so much fun. Now I'm like, whatever.
The housing is hella cheap. You've got good amenities. Like, yeah, if I had a family, I would definitely live there without a doubt. But being a single person, like, nah, it's not my speed. Mm-mm.
I was gonna say to that is like, depending on what you describe or define as a kid, cause like I went out there. I think my first time I went out there, I was like 20.
That's not a kid. That's far from a kid.
Man,
that's definitely not a kid.
Because you got to be most places out there. Like, I just know people, so I know people. So my life be different. But for most people, you got to be like 21 and all that to get into certain places. You feel me? So.
But there's a lot of
see that whole part. So he skipped on and skipped to I don't want to be the kid, I want to be the adult
Vegas
kid.
Is very, very so yes, they do have their sketchy stuff still happens.
Yeah.
It's like not as apparent as the past, but like it's a lot more kid friendly now these days. Like they put
Yeah.
attractions in, there's aquariums in different hotels now. Like there's a lot of things to do. Like for families, it's for tourism essentially.
I'm with
So
Cam,
it's geared towards
I'm with
for that.
Camden McLaren.
Yeah.
It's lit out there. But look, I wanted to add something to your last topic too, gang. And what is the Survival Chronicles? I don't know what that is.
Oh, that was the first half. You're gonna have to rewatch it.
Bro, I'm not, I am not going to be going fully all the way back to that. What I will do is, because then I'm going to load stuff
Oh,
up.
bit.
I'll do an after show, and then
Stay
I
on.
can explain that there. Yeah, but before you do, because I'm going to let you do it as a wrap up. So I want you to go ahead and I want you to start. So to wrap up, I want you to go ahead, Dallas, and I want you to give your thoughts on the topics or the topic that you want to speak to. Vegas is trash. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can't trust anybody. He went to the bathroom. He was like, on that note,
I swear. I swear.
Oh, there's a smile. I've been waiting so patiently.
All right, check this out, y'all. live from the 305. You feel me?
This dude, if you don't get to your wrap up point, don't make me start having to pull out some cue cards now.
Nah,
all right, go.
For real,
I'm just playing with you.
If it's one thing I like to tell people all the time, like life is what you make it, man, and that's something that I really stand on. I know times when I was thinking to myself certain things that might have been conflicting with certain things, or just certain things that I had to figure out in general. There's things that I can't discuss.
Yeah.
Or I just don't know how to discuss right now. And the main thing to that is good to talk about things, but it's like they say in Missouri, they say that's the show you state, you know, and you just gotta really go out there and put in that work. It's good that y'all can hear me talk, but I could really only talk because I'm really putting in work in certain places and certain areas. That's my reason for staying above the ground, you know.
Yeah.
And I look for sympathy. Like, this ain't no sad story. Nah, I done been through things, but you also gotta keep your head up, keep moving forward, and just keep being the best that you can be every day. Like, don't. And it sometimes, like how he said earlier, like you gotta better yourself. If that means being by yourself and not talking to your family, not talking to your friends, whoever, like, you're gonna be looked at like you weird. You're gonna be tested. You're gonna be tried. But as long as you working to become your best version, I can't even count with 2 hands how many times through these processes where I done been looked at like, but he different, he weird, but it's okay because the people who's supposed to understand, they understand what's going on. The people who don't understand, that's still on the left. You feel me?
Yeah, you good, brother. I'm sorry. I just saw a comment that is a typical comment when I'm on the other show. Shouts out to Red Up Thoughts Talk Series again. This brother is hilarious.
And that's
I
it
appreciate
right
that,
there.
man.
That's the biggest message I can give any of y'all, like on a serious level, is keep grinding, keep pushing, man. Like keep pushing your heart out. Don't really pay. I know I got a voice and people listen to me, but if y'all believe anything I say, I just say, look, be the best. health, wealth, lifestyle. Health,
Yeah.
wealth, lifestyle. Cause I can't count on the only
Yeah.
time I've ever really been sad. I ain't even been that sad, but just to say, like when I started getting in
Yeah.
better shape and my body and I just started going crazy. It was very little things that could bring me down. My girl would get upset about something. I'm like, I'm so focused on business and so many other things. I'm like, hey, if she trip and leave, she gonna leave. I got stuff to do. You just gotta be so. But that all comes from like getting yourself in that confident position to where you just moving a certain way in life, and you moving with those people that understand that as well. That's only gonna add to the momentum of what y'all can achieve. So that's why I say the people who understand gonna understand. The people who don't, over their head. What does man say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. His party.
I
I'm
understand.
sorry.
Yeah. He's talking about his ass. But he's good. He's good. He's talking about the party. But you good. Keep going, Dallas.
Tripping,
Finish it up. You
man.
good?
That's pretty much that's it, man. You can't really even stress it too much. Oh, and stop complaining. Stay off of social media, man. Like I know y'all see me on here right now, but stay off of social media, man. Some people minds they don't know how to balance certain things. So man, take a break sometime. Take a break,
Yeah.
figure yourself out, put the phones down. Like we had a workout session today. I left my phones in the car. Like I ain't even have my phones near me. Like I don't even wanna, cause it's like disconnect. Just disconnect and connect with yourself in the real world. Cause that's the biggest thing I see a lot of folks do. Like they complain, but if it's one thing a lot of people know me for is like I'm gonna talk my talk, but I walk that walk too. You feel me? And I know a lot of people gonna say that, but I got
Yeah.
the stamps, I got the results. You feel me? And I'm working on some more results. So
There it is. Shouts out to
Wolfpack
Wolfpack
Records, put
and
me on the. Hey, sign me to the
thank you
label.
very much. I
Sign me to
appreciate that.
the label. Boy, we gonna go
Oh my
crazy.
goodness, you're hilarious. Now with that, while he's being goofy, for your wrap up, Chris, go ahead from all the topics and things that's been said for tonight. What's your last thoughts and again wrap up?
Overall, living in survival mode it's a necessary at some point because it is
Mm-hmm.
where you gain the most perspective. And like you said earlier, if you had the
Hmm.
if you have like the wit and you have like the mindset of problem solving, that, that's that's where you can put that the most
Yeah.
like to use is when you're in that state. um for me,
Mm.
maintenance, maintaining seems to work. It's my thing. It's my thing. I'm grateful that I'm able to do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because, like I said, nobody wants to drown. Why would you want to drown? But it can be
Yeah.
a good, comfortable state, and not comfortable in the sense of like stagnant, but like where you're able to get your rhythm, and that's important, especially when you're on like
Yes.
beginning or starting your journey. So that's my final thought on everything.
Beautiful. And before I get my wrap up,
It's
I'm
five.
gonna say these questions again. I'm gonna try to remember all the
It's five.
questions that I gave out earlier for those folks because I told them, yeah, those five. Because of you, we have to give the five. Give a high five. Either high five this way or high five on the black hand side. However you want to do the five. Um, Let's remember these questions and give them out to y'all for those who didn't get to see earlier. But I said I was like, if y'all didn't know your why before, before coming in, you're going to definitely know by the end, or at least start the thinking process. I got to come back to the questions. See, remember off the top of my head. The first one was being, what are the things you value the most in life? I want you to that's the first question. What are the things you value the most in life? You can write that down. Second thing, how much time do you designate or give to those things you value on a daily basis? How much time? So what are you giving to those? Third question is, how does all of those tie into your ultimate goals, or things you want to achieve in life? How do those things tie in there? Then the fourth thing is, when are you getting started and how are you going to do it? For the fourth one. And then the fifth one is, how effective how effective was it? What can you do better for next time?
Right.
So that ultimately, I know, it's because I'm like, they're like double fold, but take all those questions, write them down. If you got to review this back and forth to get the questions, and use it for however you need to. Because at the end of the day, when we talking about what drives you, and I'll get to my ending of the point, it's all about the awareness of it, so then you can figure out your plan and points to it. All right, go ahead, Mr. I'm raising my hand because we in class, so then I can end this because this has been a long stream.
This is the universal answer, man. Y'all just get started as soon as you think about it. Just when is the time? The time is when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because why are you gonna waste more time? Like,
that's what
understood.
we're talking about with my research answer.
My brain, and I don't even know if y'all can see my face, but my brain can't even compute with that thought, like, because it's like a no-brainer for me, because it's like, let's do it today. Let's do it right now. And even myself, like, the more I get back in that mind frame, I'm telling y'all, man, it's going to do amazing things to you once, like how he said, if you didn't know your why coming in here, and those 5 questions that he just asked, number 4, I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer is today. Start when you think about it. You got dishes in the sink, go wash them. You got clothes that need to be washed and folded, go wash them, and wash the dishes. Clean the bathroom while the clothes dry. Like, just get it all done. See what that start to do to you.
What you can get done today.
Yeah, too.
Don't put off what you can get done today.
I'm going to tell y'all straight up, man. It's been times when people around me ain't sleeping when we get certain things done. I'm like, let's do it. I don't care that everybody else sleep. And y'all probably be in bed somewhere, and we up 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I get that shit done. Because when they got it done, they fell asleep knowing that they got it done. When they got up the next time they got up, they was feeling good. They was like, shit, I could do anything.
Whoa. That's too far.
He's extra. I know. Don't worry.
No.
Chris, you're not used to this. This is tame. This is tame. This is tame compared to all the other ones.
I said,
you need to communicate with your partner. Go do that. 100%. Exactly.
You talking about me? I said something.
There's no time like the present. Very true.
No, it was in the comments.
I'm gonna look. I'll tell you. I will tell you the point on the after show. If people won't come back, y'all don't have to come back.
Okay.
Why are you gonna let him read the comment? In the show. My goodness. All right. So, yes, of course. Chris, why you do that? My goodness. All right. To wrap up. Hilarious. One more time. To wrap up with the show. When it comes to current events, main piece to take away from it is make sure that you are informed. Because the most powerful thing that you can do is be informed. So that you can properly prepare yourself for performance, so then you could prevent the things that could end up happening, or at least have an idea, as well as prepare your family, friends, everyone around you. So make sure you stay informed. Second thing, when it comes to the Survival Chronicles, for me, it's a sentimental thing in my heart because it was one of the beginnings for the way I created music. But at the same time, is figuring out your game plan when it comes to the whole Survival Chronicles. How are you going to go about moving from one place to the other space? Are you going to stay in survival mode forever? Are you going to carry these multiple stresses? How are you going to create your survival plan so that it doesn't get to just you surviving, but you thriving? And lastly, when it comes to what drives us to stay above the ground is your why. If you didn't know what your why was now, hopefully those 5 questions, 6, whatever you want to add to it, at least get you to start thinking about that. And don't just say, I'm going to start this someday. I'm going to start this any day. You're going to start this right now.
A lot of pressure.
As Chairman Dallas is saying, going to start this right now. But give yourself grace to know that even if you started now and you fail, failure is nothing but an extended teacher. Because at least you've tried. That's the main thing. That's why those questions are there for you. It's a cycle. Again, life is cyclical. It moves in a circle. It's always going to continue to happen. So there's always going to be some maneuver for changing, rearranging, and trying something new. So don't be afraid to do so. But with that, y'all, I want to thank Chris. I want to thank Chairman Dallas. I want to thank Chicken and Beef, Sabu, everybody else in the chat. I'm sorry, I can't say everybody's names, but I appreciate y'all so much for coming through. This has been another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays. Don't forget, also those on Instagram and YouTube, you watching this later, please subscribe to your boy at Avid Speaks. I'm going to be throwing more videos up there. We back making content. I might throw some new stuff on there since I got this camera. Going to be trying some things. But other than that, y'all, don't forget to keep your pace, which is your patience, awareness, consistency, and empathy. And we'll catch y'all in 2 weeks from next Wednesday. All right?
Catch me in the after.
But peace and one love, y'all. And we are out.